What's up, dashingly deluded Dexterites? Tonight's the night, and it'll happen again and again until we've seen all of season one of Dexter Resurrection. I'm your host, Spencer, joined by Nick Henderson from the Dexter Daily and the Four Player Podcast. Of course, our links are in the description if you'd like to check them out. If you'd like to reach out to us, we got Twitter and Discord and Patreon down there. And then I have all of Nick's links down there as well if you'd like to look at his articles on the Dexter Daily, where he writes stuff about the new seasons of Dexter, and there's a lot of Dexter content right now, so
There
I'm
sure
sure
is.
I'm sure you're very busy. Um,
Not as busy as John though. He's the one who runs the site because
yeah.
as much as I feel like I do, he does like 1,000 times more than I do. He didn't even watch the first two episodes of Resurrection until about 48 hours after they were out because he was too busy like trying to keep up with the social media
Oh my
and like getting all this like news and cast interviews and all this shit out.
wow.
So shout out to John
Yeah,
for
shout out
doing
to
that.
him. That's
Because holy
awesome.
shit, I have no idea how he does it. I
That's
do mostly
awesome.
reviews and like opinion pieces and stuff, but he does like all the news and stuff. I don't know how he keeps up with it.
Very cool. Very cool. You also host the Four Player Podcast. So if there's anybody here that's into video games and wants to hear a great group of guys talking about video games, then go check that out as well. I believe it's found wherever you get podcasts, right? Spotify,
Pretty
YouTube,
much,
all that.
yeah, yeah. The big one. I mean, yeah, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, pretty much any stream or any podcast service that uses an RSS feed, you can find us on. So
Great. Great. So today we are obviously talking about Dexter Resurrection episodes 1 and 2. They
yeah.
came out over the weekend, and they came out on Friday. And
hmm
I don't know how I'm gonna go forward not getting two episodes in one night. I don't know how I'm gonna do this episode by
Well, think of
episode.
it this way: if they did that every week, it would be over in 5 weeks, and that'd be a shame.
Yeah, that would be a shame. That would be a shame.
Uh, I get why they did it this time because it's technically a new series and they want to give it
Right.
a nice
Yeah.
push. And I also feel, and we'll talk about this, but I also feel like episode 1 and 2 kind of they
You
almost
need
kind of
them.
need to kind of put them together.
Yeah,
Um,
you need
so
them.
yeah,
Yep. So with that said, full spoilers going forward, or at least spoilers for the first two episodes. We're also going to be theorizing about episodes 1 and 2, or theorizing about future episodes. So that
and
includes,
I've got lots of theories.
yeah, same.
Some that I feel really confident about, and others I don't.
Yes.
But
Yep.
some that I feel really confident about.
Yep. Yeah. Me too. Me too. So yeah, just a fair warning for everybody. I don't think either of us have super inside information, so I don't think we'll be able to spoil the rest of the season or anything. But spoilers for 1 and 2, and we'll be theorizing and throwing some stuff out there. So first of all, how are you doing? The last time you were on was for the finale of The Last of Us
hmm
season
hmm
2.
hmm
Um,
Doing good.
and that kind of what's going on with that show, Nick?
Oh,
be,
are we talking about
be,
The Last of Us now?
well, just real quick, because I mean Neil Druckmann left along with all of the other Naughty Dog employees, and
I mean,
it feels like they're abandoning ship.
I don't think. Well, there's first of all, there's probably a lot that goes into decisions like that, but I will say it kind of makes sense because first and foremost, he is the head of Naughty Dog, and they are now full
Sure,
steam on a brand new IP. Uh,
intergalactic, yeah,
and I would imagine that there's probably, I mean, this is just speculation, but like I would imagine there's probably some people back at Naughty Dog who are like, is this guy ever going to stop working on The Last of Us so he can actually come lead the studio like he's supposed to be doing?
sure.
Um, and also, and honestly, like Craig Mazin is, I think he's brilliant. I think the show is in great hands, and it's kind of like at some point, I feel like Neil Druckmann had to be like, look, you don't need me. Um, and
Yeah,
there's probably
I
other aspects of that obviously.
Hmm.
But Neil Druckmann is not the. I don't think he's the reason why the show is. I mean, he deserves some credit, but I think Craig Mazin is probably the more significant creative influence on the show,
I
anyways.
don't know, man. I put my tinfoil hat on, and I almost wonder if they had like a disagreement that was enough for Neil to walk away, because I feel like Craig Mazin like fundamentally does not understand who Ellie is.
What?
And yeah,
Oh man,
yeah,
I don't
like
know if I'd go that
everything
far.
everything he's said in interviews, I'm like, yeah, but that's not Ellie. I mean, we're not here to talk about The Last of Us or anything, but
Can't go down that rabbit hole.
I've got my tinfoil hat on, and I'm
I
like,
mean,
I
that's
don't
fine.
know. I
That's
don't
fine. But I
know.
mean, like, this seemed like an approach. If he was going to like depart the show, this seems like a pretty good place to do it, because like the next
Sure.
season is obviously going to be a different character at the helm, and it's
Right.
just like now would be a good time to kind of let Craig Mazin strike out on his own.
Yeah.
Whatever else went into that conversation, I don't know. I mean, obviously, The Last of Us is a pretty controversial
Series
IP
in general.
in
Yeah.
general, so any number of things could have happened.
Right.
But I would be way more concerned if Craig Mazin left and Neil Druckmann was left to become like the leader of the HBO show.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm saying that as someone who loves that game so fucking much, and
Same.
I credit Neil Druckmann so much for shaping the game.
Yes.
But when it comes to making a TV show, I think Craig Mazin is the sauce
Interesting.
of the pairing when it comes to making a TV show. I think Neil Druckmann is just kind of along for the ride and giving
Mm.
his insight and occasionally
Yeah.
directing an episode. And Craig Mazin is kind of like, look, I know how to make a television show that works.
Sure.
Listen, kind of thing. But
Yeah, I could see that perspective for sure. For
have you
sure.
watched Chernobyl? I can't remember.
No.
You should
I
go
th-
watch Chernobyl.
I think I tried and I couldn't get into it, but I might give it
Oh,
another shot.
you should give it another shot. That show is haunting and
Really.
really well done, and that's all Craig Mazin. I
Okay.
mean,
Yeah.
direct, you know what I mean.
Right,
There are
right, right.
obviously lots of creative people involved in it. Credit to them, but Craig Mazin is the helm of that ship, and it's excellent. So
Right, right. Well, Nick, we have new Dexter. How does that feel after, the end of New Blood? I mean, obviously we got Original Sin, and that was fantastic. We both loved it. I have almost nothing bad to say about it at all. But it wasn't like Michael C. Hall Dexter.
mm-hmm.
And now, obviously we've known that this is coming and everything, but after the ending of New Blood and just kind of being like, wow, it's over. It's really over. And
I've
then
had that exact
getting
thought twice in my life now,
yeah.
and it felt I felt gutted both times.
Yeah.
So I never thought we'd have a third go round here with Michael C. Hall at the helm, and yeah, here we are.
Here we are. It's so great. You
I mean,
you got to Oh,
oh, go
sorry,
ahead.
what?
I was just gonna say, like, it. I don't know, man. I like, just considering they announced this
Mhm.
show at the first Original Sin panel, and it kind
Right.
of, which is honestly, it was kind of a brutal move because it probably really overshadowed all the Original Sin news coming out
Oh,
of that panel.
sure. Yeah.
Um, but like that wasn't that long ago. That was like last June, and now
Yeah.
it's this June, and here we are. Or now it's July, but like
Yeah.
you know what I mean. We're
Right.
now watching episodes of Resurrection, which is pretty crazy to think about.
That is wild, and I hope that it didn't overshadow Original Sin too much. It did get renewed, right? It got a
It did
second
get renewed.
season. Okay.
Yeah. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if production for season 2 of Original Sin ramps up before the first season of Resurrection is over. I think they're literally kind of on they're on like,
Conveyor belt.
yeah, like the next season of the other show will begin before the current season of the existing show ends. Like
Right.
that's kind of what happened with Original Sin. Production on Resurrection started, I think, around like when they still had like 2, maybe 3 episodes of Original Sin left. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if that's kind of the plan going forward.
Right. And do you remember when did Original Sin premiere? Was that in winter?
Oh
Or was
no!
that in like January or February or something?
Actually, I think it was in October.
Oh, was it that long ago?
I
Holy crap.
I think it. I think I can't remember off the top of my head, but I want to say it was October
You might be
because it
right.
it ended before the end of the year. I know that.
Oh,
I know that. In fact, I
wow.
want to say it was like October 11th or 12th or something like that. I
Okay.
could be totally off on that, but that
Yeah.
seems to be what I
So,
remember.
yeah, so we could be getting one of these every 6 months. Like that's
Yeah, I
really,
mean,
really, really
I
exciting.
I think that's the plan because I mean they're putting all of their eggs in the Dexter basket, which I understand, and especially since they both seem to be doing really well. Original Sin was received very, very well, uh,
Yes.
and Resurrection, obviously, everybody's on board for more Michael C. Hall. And
Resurrection has a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, from what I
yeah,
understand.
it did. I don't know if it still does. Did like as
It
of
did.
yesterday.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
albeit that is with like 30 something reviews, which is still impressive,
Yeah.
but I don't expect it to last.
Sure. But it's going to be high. It's going to be
Yeah,
high.
it is. Yeah, so it has dropped to a 90% now, but still, that's
Yeah.
pretty good.
That is
That's pretty
very, very good for Rotten
good. Yeah.
Tomatoes. Now you got to go to the premiere, which you dropped this bomb on me like 2 days ago. And I
You
was like,
texted me while I was in New York, and I was like, I don't have time. I can't respond.
how did you not text me before now saying I'm going to the premiere?
Well,
I was
mostly
so excited
because,
for you.
well, thank you. Mostly because, not because I went to the New Blood premiere, and that was like I found out like that I was on the list and I could go
Very quickly, right?
like 48 hours before the actual premiere.
Right.
This time
Yeah.
I had a little more lead time.
Okay.
We found out about 6 or 7 days before.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, okay, so now I'm not as in a rush, but I was like still like, now I got to plan. I got to buy plane tickets. I got to find a
Yeah.
hotel, and I got to
Right.
figure out what the fuck I'm doing. And the arrangement was a little bit different this time. It was better
Okay.
like this time because they actually because last time it was just show up and you have a seat in the premiere, and that was cool, and I was
Right.
extremely grateful.
Yeah.
This time they put us in a like in the on the red carpet, like on the
Wow.
thing. They had like a where all the press stand and take photos with celebrities come
Yeah.
in for the premiere or whatever. So they actually had a spot. Like they had a little thing that said Dexter Daily, and I was like, oh my god, I have a spot. And it
Oh
was
my
on and
God.
it was on the second. It was on the second row, but it was like a little bit elevated, which is great because I'm not super
Oh,
tall. So
sure.
like I was kind of standing there, like looking, and I could take pictures kind of over the photographers in front of me,
Oh
um,
man.
which was really nice.
That's so
But
cool.
I'm also not a photographer, and I'm using my phone as opposed to like a lot of people who had like big fancy cameras taking the flash photography and whatnot. So like I
Right.
would say like a good like I took like 300 photos,
I'm
and
sure, yeah.
but like 30% of them, maybe more, were ruined by other cameras' flash photography. So I had to go
Sure.
through and like delete a bunch that just got like washed out.
Yeah.
Um, but still, yeah, it was really great. And but I was standing in the same spot for like 3 hours because it
Yeah.
started at like 4:15, and the premiere didn't start till 7:30,
Ooh.
and people were slowly kind of showing up. It was like
Yeah.
a trickle at first. First, like the first group of people that came through were actually like reality TV stars, and I was like, and I
Weird.
was I was taking photos of these people as they came on the carpet the plan was I was going to take the photos and I was dropping them into a Google Drive folder for John, and he was then taking those and posting them on like social media and on the website or whatever.
Right.
And I'm like sending him all these pictures, and I'm like, bro, I don't know who any of these fucking people are, but here
Okay.
you go. And then eventually you started to trickle in. I was like, oh, I recognize that person, and I recognize that person,
Nice.
and then all of a sudden, Michael C. Hall is like 5 feet in front of me, and I was like,
Oh my God.
that's crazy. And so yeah, the cast of Original Sin was there. Christian Slater, Molly Brown, and
Oh.
Patrick Gibson were all there. James Remar, Eric King. Um,
Did you get to meet
it,
anybody?
no, not well, not in the cast this time.
Okay.
Because of where I was standing, because I was
Yeah.
actually on the red carpet, and I didn't. people in the front were like mainstream press who had booked like actual interviews. So they had like big cameras with
Right.
like microphones and their whatever.
Right.
So and I was stuck behind them, so there was like a buffer between me and the actors. And I'm also kind of an introvert, so I was like, I'm not like super like comfortable just walking up to a celebrity and
Sure.
doing that. But and it just made it harder, even harder than it would have been otherwise.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, it was really great to just be able to like kind of watch them come through and be part of the people that were taking pictures. And so yeah,
That's
good
so
time.
amazing. What a moment. Congratulations, man.
Thank you. And then
I
again, like this happened. So last time, New Blood, it wasn't assigned seating. It was just like first come first serve. You go in the theater, just find a seat. And I got
okay.
there super early because I wasn't in the red carpet thing, and I just like took a seat. The theater was basically empty as like the first person there, so I had like center aisle, boom, great seat.
Oh,
And this
let's
time,
go.
it was assigned
Oh.
seating,
Oh, it
and I
was
was
assigned
like,
seating this
yeah,
time.
yeah,
Okay.
this time it was assigned seating. So I was like, well, I don't know where they put me.
Right.
They put me in the fucking like third row, fourth row from the front, same row as like a bunch of the actors, but on the opposite side. So I was like on the left side, and like James Remar and David Zayas and a bunch of people were on the same aisle, but on the right hand side of the hall. But
Sure.
I was like, I feel like I have like an amazing seat. Like I'm just like
Yeah.
watching this episode on like a movie theater screen,
Oh,
not breakneck seats, not like so far in the back that I'm like squinting. You know what I mean? Like it was
right.
just, I was like, what the fuck? And there was
That
also like a 10-year-old girl sitting next to me. I don't know what that was about.
Oh, yeah, that's odd.
I mean, I think she was with her parent or something.
Sure,
But
but
I was like, this is unexpected.
yeah, this
uh,
I don't
I'm
know
sitting,
if you should be
I'm sitting
watching
here.
this.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if you should be watching this, and I'm sitting here like laughing at like, not laughing, but like reacting to like this like bloody violence, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh dear,
Yeah, this is a little
this is a little weird.
awkward.
But yeah, it was a great
how,
experience.
how did she react to the decapitation?
Oh, bro, I wasn't paying attention to her during that. My
Sure.
jaw was on the floor.
Yeah. Oh
Uh,
my God.
and I will say this: the premiere event on Wednesday of last week was just the first episode.
Oh,
So
okay.
I didn't watch the second episode until
Friday.
everybody else on Friday,
Oh, very cool. Okay.
which is kind of a
Okay.
bummer. I was like, I understand why, because it's like it's not a movie. It's not like people are buying tickets to go. It's like it's a premiere.
Right.
But again, I do think these first two episodes are kind of important. You don't even really get to see much of New York City at all in
Right.
the first episode. So for celebrating the launch of a new show that takes place in New York City, it felt kind of weird watching an episode where you didn't really get to see any of New York City. But
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Okay. Um, so did you grab a picture of your Dexter Daily like
Mm.
tag on the thing? Oh,
I
do you have
did.
the do you have
Well,
it?
I have my little name badge thing that I took, but they also
Oh,
gave us this Dexter Resurrection press pass, which I'm gonna proudly hang
oh
somewhere.
yes. That is so
Uh,
great.
I did take a picture. It's literally just a white piece of paper that says Dexter Daily that I was
Okay.
standing on, but
Yeah.
still
That's
pretty cool.
amazing though. That's so
Yeah.
cool. That's so cool. Do you have any pictures from the premiere that you would like to show us? Are they on your computer or you
I
don't
have
have to,
I do
but
have a few. I've been kind of editing some of these. How does this
okay.
work? How do I show you?
There's a at the bottom of the screen there's a share or there's a present. It says present and then you can go to present a window and then you can just click,
Oh,
your
here.
image that you've opened. Open the image
Gotcha.
ahead of time.
Image file. I've been kind of editing these because like cleaning some of them up. So here here's a picture of Michael.
Oh,
Here you go.
very cool. Very
I've been kind of
cool.
putting this Dexter Daily stuff on it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sorry if this is like killing the pacing of this actual
No, you're
podcast.
fine. You're fine. I
Uh,
just wanted to see.
I got James Martinez like looking at me, which was pretty cool.
Oh, awesome.
He's a
Yeah.
handsome dude.
Yeah.
And also Katia Saraf, who plays Detective Wallace in the show. He's got an
Yeah.
amazing tattoo. Let me tell you. Look at that. Look at that tattoo.
I gotta move it over to my big screen. Let me see.
Killer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it
Is
just like
that
and the dress with the tattoo. I was like, God damn.
Yeah, that's really like going all together really
Yeah,
well. That's
really
very
good,
cool. Very cool.
really good style and everything. And
Yeah.
I love her character so far. And the
Yeah,
night
really
before,
interesting.
so the night before the premiere, so before I knew that I was going to the premiere, they had announced they're doing like a I don't know what they called it. It's like a panel with the cast at this venue called 92 NY in downtown New York City.
Okay.
Uh, and it's just like a come. We're going to talk about the series with a couple of the castmates. In this case, it was Michael C. Hall, David Zayas, Jack Alcott, and uh, Katia Saraf, and James Remar.
Okay.
And I bought tickets for that because I was like, it's $50. Like worst case scenario, I find out I'm not on the list. I'm not going to go, and I threw away $50. Not a big deal. But
Sure.
when I found out I could go, I was like, I guess I'm going to this panel too. So the night before, I went to the panel, and that's Katia Saraf was the only like new cast member on the panel, but like they were showing like kind of clips of the show that hadn't been shown anywhere before, and they showed
Okay.
that the scene where you meet her at the where they find the body at the garbage dump.
Yeah. Great
Um,
scene.
yeah, and got to hear her talk about her character a little bit, and I was like, I can already tell I'm really gonna like this character.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was a really exciting thing. I got some pictures from that panel too. Just really
Awesome.
great conversation.
That's so cool. I'm so glad that you got to like you've so earned it. I'm so glad that you've gotten to
Well,
have this experience.
I'm very glad to, but I do have to. I am because this is all thanks to John at Dexter Daily
Sure.
who asked me to help him out when New Blood
Of
started,
course.
and
Yeah.
I've been helping him out kind of ever since. But he does like I so one of the things is the kind of the contact we've been working with at Paramount to kind of like set all this stuff up was he one of the marketing people there. I won't say his name, but like I met him at the event for the first time,
Oh,
and then
cool.
he's like, hey, and then he like waved someone down. They walked over, and he was like, hey, this is from Dexter Daily, and I was like, oh shit, nice to meet you. And I was like, who are you introducing me to? And he's like, this guy runs all the Dexter social accounts. So like he's the guy who tweets and posts on Instagram and all
Oh,
this stuff. And he's like, you know John from Dexter Daily? I was like, yeah, I'm here on his behalf. And he's like, how the hell does he do that? He does it faster, more consistently, and he posts things sometimes before I even know about it. And
right.
I was like, dude, I've been asking myself the same thing. And he was like, he's in Greece, which is why
Oh,
I've been
okay.
going on his behalf. So because it's just not really realistic or financially feasible for him to fly across the world to go to these
Yeah.
events that are basically one evening. Um, so I was like, yeah, he's based in Greece. And I was like, dude, he's up right now. It's like 5 a.m. As we're standing here. And he's like in my pocket, blowing my phone up, like, send me stuff, send me stuff. And I'm just like, I don't know. And he was like, does he sleep? And I was like, I honestly don't
Don't
know.
know.
So
That's
props to
great.
John.
Yeah, shout out to
He
John, man.
does incredible stuff. And I wish part of me feels bad for going when I know he really, really, really wants to be there, but it isn't super realistic. So
Sure.
I'm glad I can help the
That's
site, but I'm
fantastic.
also very, very grateful to be able to to go do
Yeah.
it. So,
Yeah, congrats, man. That is awesome. That is such a
thank you.
dream. Okay, so let's go into our general thoughts here. Uh, just kind
It's
of like,
terrible. I'm just kidding.
yeah, right. It's awful.
Just
Um,
kidding.
so yeah, man, just like, I mean, we can talk specifics if you want, but just overall, where is it at as far as like, compared to New Blood or compared to the original series, or just how are you feeling about it overall?
So I will say this, just kind of generally speaking, I haven't officially written my review for the second episode yet.
Hmm.
I like the second episode more than the first episode,
Same, yeah. Yep.
but but I think that first episode is still really strong,
Hmm.
but there's a lot of baggage that comes with it, which
Yes.
I'm sure we're going to talk about.
Yep.
Uh, it has a little bit of a pacing issue,
Yes.
kind of like the first episode of Original Sin had a little bit of a pacing issue because in that case they were like, we have to get through the we have first of all we have to show the Nurse Mary thing because you
Right.
can't just skip over it, but we
Right.
also don't want to sit here re-showing things that people already know about, but we're kind of
Right.
obligated to do it. So like they kind of blew through that story and it felt like it was moving very quickly. little bit of a different situation here, obviously, but like the elephant in the room here is that now we have to write ourselves
Explain.
out of the corner. We have to explain all that we have to answer and address all the questions that people have.
Yeah.
And I said this in my review, I think it's a little bit of a mixed bag
Yeah.
with what they went with.
Yeah.
But it's fine. And I will say this, I think it's fine
I do too.
because god damn it, this is what people wanted.
Yeah.
This is
Yep.
what people
This is what we
demanded.
asked for. This is what we asked for. I just don't like the delivery.
Yeah. And honestly, and this is the thought that hadn't even honestly really occurred to me until I was watching the first episode a second time because I came home and I watched it with my wife. And she had kind of the same reaction I did to specifically the Angela thing, or
Yeah.
when Teddy comes in to
Yes,
talk
that's
to
what I'm
Dexter,
talking
right?
about as well. Yep.
Which is funny because the thing I had more issue with was the Logan thing. The Angela thing didn't bother me at all. But I've heard other people say they were upset about the Angela thing. But the thing I didn't think about, because I've known for a while that I know Julia Jones wasn't coming back
Right.
to this, and whether that's permanent or whether that's just for the season, and maybe it was a scheduling conflict or whatever.
Sure.
They didn't get her back, so they had to do something else, and they used Teddy as kind of a stand-in. And
Yeah.
her point was like, all of this would have been okay if Angela had been the one to walk in the room and you know, give him the news and say we're
That is a
even,
good
like
point.
get the fuck out of my town.
Yep.
Um, it just felt like a little bit like the whole thing was cheapened a bit by having
Teddy
Teddy,
do
who
it.
is more or less kind of this like comic relief character, come in and
Well, my thought, and what you'd see in the notes here is that I thought that Angel Batista should have done it. I thought,
mhm,
like, because Teddy comes in and he gives us all this exposition, and I audibly sighed. I was like, this is literally like telling me and not showing me. Like, this,
yeah,
I think that Teddy should have come in and been vague and been like, well, because of the thing, because, she accidentally, accused you or whatever.
yeah,
And then have Dexter sitting there and being like, what is he talking about? And then Teddy leaves and Dexter just being still confused. And then Angel coming in and kind of filling in the rest of it. Like, yeah, it was
yeah.
weird. Like, she told me that you were the Bay Harbor Butcher, and then she called me back and said that she had gotten it wrong. Um
I
and
think
that
the only reason that they didn't have Batista kind of fill in so many of those gaps is because it would have created a little bit. There's a certain amount of knowledge that they
yeah,
wanted Batista to have, and some knowledge they didn't want him to have because it's going to kind of inform where he goes and how he goes about doing certain things.
it's fair.
So I think if he had come in and been the one to kind of explain what happened with Angela, would imply that he knows a lot more than he actually knows.
Mm,
Because he's basically in a position now where he's telling Dexter that you apparently got away with a bunch of shit, or
mm-hmm.
something happened, and the person who told me that you're the Bay Harbor Butcher suddenly recanted her story. I don't know what the hell's going on there, but
Yeah.
it's suspicious, right? Like, that's kind of where he's supposed to be at. And if he was there telling him, like, here's, Angela told me to tell you this, and then she left town, it would have been like, what the fuck does she mean you're even? Like,
Right.
and also he wouldn't have bought that. He would have like, well, this is clearly, there's some fishy shit going on here,
Yeah.
like immediately. Like, honestly, like, and we'll talk about it more, but like, I think
Sure.
Batista in that moment, until up until the point where Dexter makes a run for it,
Mm-hmm.
is probably still very much in like, this is suspicious, this is weird, I'm gonna figure out what's going on here, but my heart of hearts hopes to God that that's not the case, that this is not true.
I don't know, when he turned around after they talked that first time,
Yeah,
like, he turned around and his smile completely dropped and he went straight faced
yeah.
and
I
was
mean, I
just
do think
very
he's
like,
suspicious. I
yeah,
do think he's suspicious, and the fact that he's making this connection now between what LaGuerta
LaGuardia.
suspected and what Angela suspected, he's clearly kind of like, well, there's got to be something to it if two of these
Right.
people that have never met before are coming to the same conclusion, and I like that.
Yeah.
But I think
It's a
Batista,
really good angle.
but I do think Batista is also just kind of this inherently like wants to see the good in everybody. He is
Yeah.
fond of Dexter. You can tell he's fond of Dexter, And
He
I
brings
think
him a Cuban sandwich,
he
man.
brings him a Cuban sandwich. He gives him a hug. I think all that
That's
is
real.
that's real. It's authentic. But at the same time, he's also like, but I am gonna figure out what the fuck is going on here, and I hope it's not what everybody's saying it is.
Right.
But then he runs for it, and he's like, okay, something's up. This is
Yep.
definitely he is guilty of something, and I'm going
Yep.
after him.
Right.
Which I think was a smart move. I just think it was a little slot. Obviously they tie themselves into some knots trying to kind of
Sure.
like explain away some of this stuff. Which again, I go right back to this is what you motherfuckers wanted. And I'm sorry, I'm
Yep.
saying that with all due respect. I know people
Sure.
really, really wanted this, and I'm secretly one of them. I liked the ending of
Same.
New Blood, but I get it, and I'm
Yeah.
happy that they're doing this now, especially now that I've seen the first 2 episodes. But like,
Right.
this is what people wanted. This is what people begged for. So you just
I
gotta have to swallow these pills,
yeah.
and
And
then
the
let's
thing
move on.
is like once we got that scene over with, then it
Yeah,
was fine. Like
yeah.
I don't think that's like a
Everything up
regular
until that
occurrence.
everything up until that point was fine too. It's just like
Yeah.
there's like this kind of like moment in the middle where it's like, okay, we got to get through this stuff. We just got to do
Right.
it, and then we got to move on.
Yep.
And they do it, and they move on, and then
Yeah.
everything is we're off to the races. And I think
Yeah.
episode 2 is where where it finally start like I feel like that stuff's in the rearview mirror. They're still kind of like touching on things from New Blood, which I think is super
Right.
important.
Yeah.
And I've liked all that stuff so far. But like the story now feels like it's going somewhere. It's going in
Yeah.
a direction, and I was very happy. I was so happy with episode 2, and I
Yeah.
really liked the premiere. But I think episode 2 was where I was like, oh man, I cannot fucking wait to see where this goes.
Right. Right.
So that's kind
La-
of where I'm at.
last thing I'll say about that scene, at least until we get there in the notes or whatever, is I actually really liked Angela's reasoning. Like
Mhm.
it made sense to me where she was like, "You know what? You gave me the location of this place where I went down there and I saw that this guy was a sick fuck and
Yeah.
I'm going to give you one single pass. The only thing you mentioned Logan,
Mhm.
how does she forgive Dexter killing Logan?
See,
I mean,
that's the thing. That's the hand wave thing. That's the
yeah.
thing that I struggle with. I was like, you clearly a gun was fired in the room, and
Yeah.
that's kind of what they leaned on to kind of explain he killed him in self-defense. And
Mhm.
I was like, and that is kind of true. He did, like, he was like, don't do it, and then he
Yep.
fucking fired his gun and he killed him.
Yep.
um but like, why was Logan shooting at him in the first place to begin with? You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
But I knew they were gonna have to do some mental gymnastics
Sure.
to make some of this stuff make sense.
Sure.
So I'm okay with it. I'm just like, there were people out there who were like, retcon Logan's death, bring him back to life. I was like, if they do that, I'll be pissed. Like,
Oh
I don't.
yeah, why would you
As
do
much as
that?
some people were adamant, like, dude, just make it so that Logan survived, and I was like, no, 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 no.
No.
That would
You couldn't
ruin
do that twice.
everything, I think, and I'm glad they
Yeah.
didn't. But in order to get Dexter to where they needed him to be, and to like so that they can move on,
Yeah. Yeah.
they needed to do some weird shit, and they did it, and
Yep.
it's over, and now we can move on, and
Now
I'm
we can
so
move
happy,
on. Yep.
so happy.
Yeah, that's very true. My last kind of general thought
Mhm.
is, what do you think of the tone of the season? Because it's
Mm.
very, I find it very different to even New Blood,
I
and
think it's like a mix of the original and New Blood, like,
oh, really? Okay.
because on one hand, it does still feel kind of dark. It does still feel
It's super dark. Yeah.
it's super dark and at times like creepy.
Yeah.
And they, of course, they're still using Pat Irwin is still doing the music because the original
Mm,
composer Daniel Lick passed away in between the original show and
right.
New Blood.
Yeah.
So they're injecting some of the old soundtrack into it a little bit more than they did in New Blood, but it's still
Mm,
like they're leaning on like his darker score that he started doing with New Blood, so it has the kind of the vibe of New Blood, but
mm.
they're really doing the humor thing way more. Like there's way more of that kind of like
Yeah.
ironic humor that we always loved about the original show
Yeah.
happening here. And
Yeah.
I think that's a really cool
I didn't
mix.
really start laughing until the second episode, I think.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like like New Blood had kind of wackier humor, like with, Deb and the cheerleader,
Hmm.
yay Dexter, like that whole scene, and that's not really happening here.
Yes,
And
I mean, yeah, and like some of the flash, like some of the like the hallucinations and visions, which are actually more Harrison focused right
right,
now, are
yeah,
pretty cool and like
pretty cool, yeah,
dark. Um,
yep, yep,
but you know, we have Harry back, and I think the dynamic between Dexter and Harry is obviously way
so
different
good,
than Dexter and Deb.
yeah,
And I think that's by design. And
mm-hmm,
I actually feel I was really kind of nervous. I was like, why? How are they going to explain that? Like he went from seeing his sister to seeing his father, and now Deb's gone. And then also like, is this going to like kind of cheapen the whole like? Because like the one of the last shots of New Blood is like Deb kind of like letting go of his hand as he's dying.
right,
And I was like, that for me, that was a really impactful moment, and I
yeah,
would hate to see that cheapened. But it kind of makes sense. It was like she served her purpose
right,
and like their dynamic is done and now he has this new lease on life,
yeah,
and it makes sense that his father would be kind of the guiding light for him now, because now he's
right,
like, I got to make things right with Harrison, so it would make sense that like his father is the one showing him how to make it right.
right,
um
yeah, for
i
sure.
i kind of I like kind of the explanation for the shift there.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, I think the tone of the season so far is really interesting. I like it a lot. It's just like way different. Like I don't I maybe I need to do a rewatch or something, but I don't see any of the original series in the tone of this new season. Besides
I
the
think a lot of it
occasional
has to do with
humor.
it's the humor I'm mostly referring to.
Sure, sure.
um
But like the way it's so interesting because you get the main series, and even as those seasons go on, it's like filmed and edited a little bit different as you get towards
oh
the
yeah.
end of the series. Um, and then you get New Blood, where it's very different. 10 years has passed. Dexter is older. It's a lot of like dark blues and grays and kind of that whole filter
It's a
that's
very
over it.
muted, yeah, muted
Yeah,
filter, which is a
and
mixed bag for some people. I loved it. I loved
I
the
loved it too.
vibe and
Yeah.
tone, but I know John, like John specifically at Dexter Daily, like he hated the filter
Oh,
in New
really?
Blood. But like, I think it's just a personal preference thing. I've seen lots of
Yeah.
people say they love it. I've seen lots of people say they weren't into it, but
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
And this doesn't have that. It's very, I mean, it has its own look and feel to it, but like especially in episode 2 where he's like running around New York City, and
Yeah.
like two shots in particular, the shot at the kind of near the end where he's where he first kind of like interjects with the dark passenger killer.
Yeah.
Well, he pretends to be taking a picture of the bridge.
Yeah.
I was like, this is beautiful. Like I like
Hmm.
the lighting and just kind of like the New York vibe is like so good here. And then he goes
Yeah.
down into the subway, and I love the look of the subway, and kind of everything that goes on in that scene.
Yeah.
Um, it definitely feels different.
I mean, it
Um,
feels it the way that I described it is that it feels like a movie. It doesn't feel like a TV show. It feels like it's shot and produced and edited like a movie.
I did feel
Which
that
I
way
think
about
is
New Blood,
cool.
though. I did feel that way about New Blood, and
Oh, really? Okay.
I think a lot of that had to do with the aspect ratio and just the
Mm.
10 years that had passed, and like the budget was. I feel like it was it was 10 episodes instead of 12, so they had a little bit, and they were able to kind of take the budget a little bit farther
Yeah.
than they would have before. I'm guessing that New Blood had a bigger budget than like anything from the original series,
Sure.
especially because it was supposed to be a one-off, and they filmed it on location in New York, and or because they filmed it in Massachusetts, but it was supposed to be New York or whatever. But like
Well, this one
they
must have a huge budget too, and because that's
it
why
does it
that's why I
does
was wondering, with it looking more like a movie, I was I was wondering if that was part of, having all these big actors. I wonder if they're trying to produce it like not like overproduce it, but just, way above and beyond what they've done before
yeah.
because,
I
all
mean
these big names are there and
that's definitely part of it, and I think they knew if they were going to try and do what they're doing, they're going to try and bring back Dexter and kind of retcon the ending of New Blood. Um, there's going to have to be some serious carrots on it,
yeah.
on a string to kind of like entice people, and I think that's part of it. But I think it's also that we live in a, prestige television today is very different than prestige television when Dexter was first airing. Like we live in a
Sure.
post Game of Thrones world now, where like fucking TV
Yeah.
shows look insane, like
Right.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Sometimes better than actual movies.
Right.
And I just think you're seeing kind of the benefit of that trickle down into Dexter.
Yeah.
Um, and it's especially it's even more noticeable in Resurrection than I think it was in New Blood, because Resurrection takes place in such a big and recognizable
Yeah.
city. Um,
That we've seen in movies and stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
You know,
it's
we have
it's got
something to compare
this
it to.
it's got this scope that
Hmm.
that New Blood didn't have, because New Blood took place in a small town, which I think is
Right.
equally cool, but for different reasons. And
Yes.
then
Yeah.
the original show takes place in Miami, but it was filmed in LA, and they were just pulling a lot of wool over your eyes to make you think it was Miami.
Right.
And I just, they're obviously going a different route with Resurrection, which I think is great. But I also like that they stuck with kind of their, because I did in between New Blood and Resurrection, we got Original Sin, which is obviously way more similar to the original series.
Yeah. Very bright. Very,
Very bright,
kind
very
of.
vibrant. It has the intro sequence, the iconic intro sequence and everything, and
Yeah.
it has a lot more of the original soundtrack kind of mixed in there, the Miami vibe, the Cuban music kind of
Yeah.
thing going on, um, which I love. And but with the Resurrection, they're very much treating it like this is at the opposite end of the timeline.
Right.
It is a follow up to New Blood, so they're going to keep a lot of the stuff they did in New Blood.
Right.
Like they do the thing where you get like the really quick flashes of stuff that's happening in the episode. There's no opening sequence, which I know some people are probably really upset about. Um,
Yeah.
and what else was I going to say? And they do like the when they show the episode titles, they kind of like it's in the actual scenery, as opposed to like
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Original Sin. It was like the original show where it's just like opening title sequence, black screen with the title,
Right.
go. This
Right.
one's
Right.
like finding cool, interesting ways to kind of work it into the shots, which I actually really liked.
Yeah. It's cool.
Um, and I feel, as much as I love the intro sequence of the show, I like kind of just getting to the action. And now we have Original Sin, which has that element, so it's like you still got it. It's there.
Hmm.
Want that?
Yeah.
It's an Original Sin. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely
What
feels like a successor to New Blood.
What do you think of the pacing? I feel like it's really slow paced, and
You would
I
think it's
don't
really
mind it.
slow paced.
Yeah.
The first episode to me felt like it was moving at breakneck speed in a lot of ways, and I think that
Mm.
mostly has to do with like think about all the stuff that happened in that one episode, and like how
Yeah.
like they explained the coma thing, they showed him recovering, they had all the cameos like the ghosts or whatever.
Right.
They had the conversation with Batista. They showed everything going on with Harrison and all the shit that he gets into in New York, and then they come back and it's like now Dexter has to make his escape, and then it introduces Charlie. It's like there's just so much
Yeah.
happening in that first episode,
It's
and then
true.
episode two feels paced more kind of like maybe closer to an episode of New Blood than the originals show.
Yeah.
It's somewhere in there. It's definitely it's paced more like, okay, this is kind of the pacing I'm used to and I like.
Mm.
It doesn't feel like it's going too fast or too slow,
Mm.
I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Yeah, I think maybe it's just because there was no, I guess, like big revelations. I was kind of thinking that we would know more about um um the other like serial killer
Oh
characters.
yeah.
I thought that they would start to get introduced at the end of
I
episode
think
2,
no,
but it
I think
seems like
there's
he's doing this little side quest first.
yeah, and I have theories about that. And I
Okay.
that is all that is all kind of linked to how those characters get introduced and how Peter Dinklage's character comes into play. Um, Charlie is just kind of the first component of that.
Sure.
Um,
Do
so
you do you think that Dexter is gonna kill the Dark Passenger guy and get his letter, and then he's gonna be, you know, he's gonna be like covert, uh,
That
Yeah.
is 110% my theory.
Yeah,
He
that's
is
mine
going to
too.
kill the Dark Passenger Killer and then take up his persona, his identity, and
Yep.
use his invitation to infiltrate this game or whatever it is that Peter Dinklage is doing.
Right.
So yeah, that, and I've seen that rumor. A lot of more people. Um, I will say this, just as kind of, this is random, I guess, but
Uh-huh.
just yesterday I was talking to John and we were just tossing ideas around about web stuff, and I was like, we should start a Discord for Dexter Daily because I feel like a lot of people would
Yeah.
be there. So he was like, I don't know anything about Discord, and I was like, I do. I use it all the time, and so
Okay.
I started a Discord for Dexter Daily, and I'm managing it.
Oh, cool.
And we have a bunch of people in there now, and people are talking and theorizing and stuff. And I've seen a lot of people, without me having to like prompt it or say it, have that exact same or some variation of that theory. So everybody is kind of starting to, like, especially after watching the first two episodes, I think are starting to kind of piece those things together. So I'm pretty confident that's exactly what's going to happen here.
Yeah, I think
The
so. I
other
think so
alternative,
too.
the only slight variation of that I could think of is he's going to kill the Dark Passenger Killer, and Charlie, Uma Thurman's character, is going to
See
see
it.
him do it and then realize, I'm going to give him an invitation, or like,
Right.
I'm going to invite him because he clearly is the better killer or whatever.
Right.
But I think it makes way more sense to me because, like, no one's going to know that he's the Bay Harbor Butcher or whatever.
Right.
I think it makes way more sense that he is going to like realize what's going on and use that as an opening to
Well, it's
insert
it,
himself.
if that's the case, it's going to be really interesting to watch him like have to pretend to be this guy and be like, "Oh yeah, I hate those cab drivers." Like,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
But we've seen him do shit like that
Yeah.
before, like
Yeah.
pretending to be Kyle Butler for an entire
Yeah.
season of the show. Like he's done that shit before. Um,
Speaking of which, what a great segue into the beginning of episode one, where we'll go through a few scenes of this episode. Dexter sees Trinity, and that's kind of
I did not realize the episode was going to literally open with that. It
open with that. Yeah.
literally opens with "Hello, Dexter Morgan," and I was like, "Oh shit, it's happening!"
Yeah, here it
There
is.
he is. There he is.
Yeah. What did you think of? Yeah,
worst
worst
kept
kept
secret.
secret. Yeah.
Um, but I mean, great.
Hmm.
Very cool scene. I kind of like the sentiment he was talking about, and how was like, that seems like an odd justification for patricide, and
Hmm. Yeah.
he's like giving him a pep talk, but obviously it's all in Dexter's subconscious, but he's seeing these
Right.
people using aspects of their personality to and their history to kind of like reflect about what's going on with him,
Hmm.
which I thought was really interesting. And it was cool seeing Dexter kind of like teleport around the room a little bit.
Yeah.
He's in the
Right.
bed, and all of a sudden the camera pans over and he's standing and his clothes are changed and he's talking
Yep.
to him.
Yeah, that was
And
super. That was super cool.
then you see the bathtub in the background with the blood pouring over the side.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. I mean, it's very brief. It's very brief, but
Yeah.
I mean, I knew it was gonna be. We all knew it was gonna be brief, but it was still really cool. My favorite cameo, actually, that I mean, it was really great to see John Lithgow, but like, I was honestly way more excited to see Miguel Prado.
Yes. Same. That was
Yeah,
so amazing.
because who thought he would ever reprise his role? Like, and
Right.
that is just such a deep cut. I think I still to this day think season 3 is wildly underrated. I know
Me too. Yeah.
it's such a great season, and he's such an amazing villain.
Yeah.
So seeing him come back even for a moment was just like, oh, I loved it. And like their dynamic felt it's the same. He was like,
Yep.
we were friends, you and I. And he's like,
Yep.
yeah, for a moment there we were. And I was like, oh,
Oh.
that's so good. Oh,
Yep.
I loved it. And
Oh.
that fact that they were in the cemetery, and he was like, because
Yeah.
if you go back to season 3, he made him think that, yeah, you dispose of bodies by dropping a
Right.
body in a freshly dug grave, and that's where
Yeah.
they were. And then they use that to kind of like transition to like showing the headstones of like all the innocent people that died along the way. Like
Yeah.
that was good. It was
That
all
was
good.
great. It was
All
so
good.
good. It was so good.
Yeah.
My least favorite was Dokes.
It felt a
Um,
little. It felt. I mean, I always love
felt
seeing
cheesy.
jokes. And I mean, yeah, it felt cheesy. It felt that was fan servicey all the way.
Yeah.
I still smiled like a school child because I was like,
Sure.
Dokes. I love Dokes, and he got to. I mean, I
You have
like.
to say the thing.
He's got to say the thing, and they even did the little montage later, which I thought was funny. It was like, yeah, he
Oh
says
yeah.
when he's talking to Batista, he's like, yeah, Dokes called me a lot of things, and it kind of like rattles
Yep.
off all the stuff, and I was like, that's funny. But they ended with him calling him the Bay Harbor Butcher, which I
Yeah.
thought was really clever. And I was like,
Yeah, that was
but
clever.
he still doesn't know about that one. It was like
Right.
that was actually a really kind of clever nod.
Yep.
But yeah, after he did the surprise motherfucker thing, I liked the where he's like you would never say that about me. And he's like,
Right.
and then but then he like he's like, no, Morgan, we need to have this conversation. And then because Dokes would never really say that,
Right.
but like
With
it's
all
just kind
these
of
characters, it's all inside Dexter's head, so it's not
yeah.
the actual character, saying
But
these things to him.
it also says a little bit about like how Dexter feels about Dokes. So he's like, I like to think that Dokes underneath it all maybe understood me a little bit, or
Sure.
maybe didn't really feel the way he said he felt about me. Like maybe he thought just
Yeah.
underneath the surface there was some good there, even though it's probably bullshit.
Right.
Like
Right.
just knowing that it's in his head,
Yeah.
it was a cool dynamic. So yeah, after
It
the
it's
little
something that
cheesy,
Dexter wants,
yeah,
It's something
and I
that he
liked
hopes
the
for.
I liked where he did this thing again, but like the side shot where you just see his like his fingers like kind of like
Oh yeah.
pointing at his face.
Right.
Uh, yeah, there were that was the cheesiest one, but it had its moments.
It
It
had
was
its
kind of cool.
moments. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, all that was great. And then we get our first look at Harrison. He's working at the hotel. He's super good at it. He's very like charismatic. He meets Shauna, who's there for a conference. She comes up later. Well, actually, this guy like roofies her and takes her, upstairs and everything. But right before that, we get a hallucination from Harrison, and Dexter and Harrison both have hallucinations, but they're very different, right? Like
Yeah,
Dexter hallucinates like the people that he loves and the people that he cares about and imagines them like talking to him. And Harrison is more traumatized by the people he's killed. And
yeah,
those people kind of come to haunt him. And, Dexter doesn't have that. He doesn't
yeah.
have guilt over the people that he's killed.
I think
Um,
I think the approach they're taking to this is actually really smart.
yeah.
I know that like one of the goals for this season or for this show is to kind of, and while I don't think it's necessary because I really liked Jack Alcott as
Hmm.
Harrison in New Blood.
Yeah.
Um, People always like to say he was a whiny bitch, and I was like, first of all, teenager, duh.
Yeah. I
Two,
liked him.
two, he had a reason to be whiny and
Yeah.
disgruntled and angry. Like all of that was justified. So like whatever,
Yeah.
that's a whole different comment. But like people had, and I think, and honestly, I believe this with my heart of hearts because everybody likes to say they fucking hated Harrison. You didn't
Hmm.
hate Harrison. I was in the thick of the discourse during New Blood.
Yeah.
Everybody loved Harrison. It wasn't until the finale when everybody was pissed that he killed Dexter that they
Right.
turned on him. And then
Right.
everybody was like, "Oh, I fucking hate Harrison." And
It's like, no, you didn't.
I've always thought that was such bullshit. But the point is, it was a
Right.
very, very passionate response. Everybody was like, "I hate Harrison" on the I
Right.
hate Harrison train. And
Sure.
I know one of the goals of Resurrection is to kind of try and turn that around to make
Hmm.
people like Harrison a lot more.
Yeah.
And I think anyways, and it's maybe hard for me to gauge because I've always liked him, but like I think they're doing a pretty good job of that so far.
Yeah. Right.
Um, and I think part of that has to do with they're saying something about like I think it would personally I think it would be really dumb if they had gone the route of we're just going to make Harrison Dexter 2.0.
Right.
He's not.
Yeah.
In fact, he does not want to be anything like his father.
Right.
He is kind of becoming like his father
By
in spite of
happenstance.
by
Yeah.
happenstance because of all the shit he's been through and because now what he knows about his father
Right.
um, and what he thinks he knows about himself. But like this, using these visions to kind of drive home that he is haunted by regret and remorse. Dexter is haunted by, I mean, he is haunted by remorse for the people he kills. Dexter is haunted by remorse for the people that he got killed,
Right.
like Rita and Dokes and all that.
Right. Right.
So it's really interesting that they're kind of like using this as a way to kind of like paint this very clear picture of like he is forging his own path. He is not Dexter. So even if, whatever happens down the road, if like Dexter dies or whatever, and they decide to continue this series with Harrison, which I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm saying if it were to happen, they're trying to like make clear like it wouldn't be the same show. Like this is not the same character. Um,
Right, yeah.
and I
He's a very different character that is leaning on the knowledge from his father to
yeah,
get him through the things that are
and I
happening.
think he's likable, like Dexter is likable for a
Yeah,
different reason. Like
yeah,
he is like he did his first solo kill when he realized what was about to happen to someone, and he did it to protect somebody. Um, and there's this moment that I keep thinking about that I think is just really paints like a perfect picture of kind of the difference between that. And I'm not saying Dexter wouldn't do this, but like after he kills the guy in the bathroom and he looks over and he sees Shauna still laying on the bed, passed out, he
yeah.
walks over and he like gently like covers her, like pulls her skirt back down to cover her
Right.
legs or whatever,
Yeah,
because he's
yeah,
like, I'm so sorry. It just has this very much like, I'm gonna take care of you, and then he like takes her back to her room, tucks her
yeah,
into bed, and he's like goes back to what he's doing. And I think Dexter would maybe in the same situation probably do the same thing, but
yeah.
it wouldn't be out of a sense of like it would be more to protect himself and what
Sure.
happened than to like actually protect this girl. And he
Correct.
was
Yeah,
doing it very clearly to like because he's like, I killed this person for you, so I'm gonna make sure you're separated from this
yeah.
and you don't know what happened and all that stuff. So I
Right.
really liked that.
Yeah. Same. I like that a lot too. And what a great scene when he kills the guy. Man, they're like punching each other and scrapping on the floor, and the guy's like, all right,"
He was
and
about to walk away. He was about to be like, "All right, I've finished. I've saved this girl.
yep,
I've won this fight. I'm leaving." And the guy
yep.
had to open his stupid
He
fucking
had to
mouth.
he had to open his mouth, and he was like, "It's just gonna happen to somebody else. It's gonna be someone else. There's so many of
Always
them."
more. There's always more like her kind of thing.
Yep. And just what a fantastic shot of it happened so fast. Harrison reaching back and grabbing the lid and just like bringing it all the way over his shoulder and down. And it
Yeah,
was just like just like such a clean swing. And it
yeah,
was a beautiful shot where the camera's backed up and you see the guy on the floor and you see Harrison standing over him and doing it. And it
yeah.
was just such an amazing shot. And
Yeah,
and
it
oh
was cool,
man,
man.
so good.
Uh, yeah,
So then
yeah.
he
And
so
then,
he,
oh man,
he gets to work, right? He gets to work. He wraps him up in the shower. He takes him down to the kitchen. And at first I was like, how did no camera see him? But it's explained later that in the, public areas or like the private-ish areas, there's no cameras in the
they only
hotel.
put cameras in the public spaces like elevator, hallways, lobby, those
Yeah.
kinds of places. Which and I will say this, and I it takes place in New York City. There's a certain amount of suspension of disbelief we're probably gonna have
Yes.
to do when it comes to surveillance, but like
Right.
they're already touching on it and like they're acknowledging it. So
Right.
like they're probably going to just kind of like and also like it's something to be said about the fact that Harrison works this hotel. He probably
Yeah.
knows where all the cameras are, and he
Right.
like everything he kind of did in the moment to cover it up made sense to me. I
Right.
was a little curious, like how the fuck did he get him down to the kitchen? Also, like the kitchen
Mhm.
seems like a real brazen place to do this, but like I
I
guess,
know.
but also like it makes sense to do it in the kitchen because of all the access you have to the tools or whatever,
Yeah.
and uh, and he seemed to be kind of just like, well, it almost felt like he was going, what would my dad do in this situation?
Yeah.
Um,
He was because he had Dexter's voice in him like I cut him into 9 pieces. I take the clothes
yeah,
off first and all
yeah,
this stuff.
which I think was a nice way to work in like because he did say those things in that episode of New Blood, which
Yeah.
time was there to kind of like had it served a very different purpose. It was to kind of make Harrison realize, oh, how fucked up all this is.
Right.
And in Resurrection, he's thinking of it as like a lesson, like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm glad I paid attention because now I know what I need to fucking do.
Right.
And um, it was a cool scene, and it was shockingly graphic.
Oh,
uh,
super graphic.
that was the most like even in the original series. We talked a little bit about this when at the or I did talk I talked this a lot at the end of New Blood in that
Uh-huh.
episode where they killed Kurt, and they were trying to highlight how fucked up it is and how Harrison was starting to realize how fucked up it is, and they were showing him like sawing through Kurt's body, but they weren't
Yeah.
showing it directly, but you could see like
You could see
you
it.
could you could feel the resistance of like bone as he's like cutting through it or whatever, and it was supposed to
Right.
make you like, and now
Oh
they're
my.
just, here it
Yep.
is, and he's like
Yep.
chopping meat with a meat cleaver, and whoo.
Yeah.
um
I didn't know one of those knives could cut through bone like that. Like that's
I think it's,
crazy.
I mean, I think if you do it hard enough, oh well, this seems
Yeah.
fucked up. But like, I would assume if you do it hard enough, it will.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, but it was also because while it was happening, I was kind of like, oh man, this isn't really who I thought Harrison was. And then he puts the
Throws
garbage
up.
bags together, takes it out to the garbage truck, tosses it, and as soon as the body's out of his sight, he throws up. And I was like,
Yep.
okay, there it
Yep.
is. He realizes what he just did is super fucked up, but he was in survival mode. And
Yep.
now that he realized he's in the clear for now, he can throw.
But but it's neat seeing that something he got from his dad is being cool under pressure and
Yeah,
being
yeah.
like,
Which
very
I
level-headed.
I think he had that before he
I
even
think so
found
too, yeah.
Dexter, because he was like cool as a cucumber in New Blood a lot too. He
Mhm.
was super confident, super
Yeah.
like able to take care of himself. So we already knew he had elements of that. I
Right.
just think seeing everything his dad did in New Blood kind of like heightened all that.
Yep.
So yeah, I think this is again another example of kind of like a smart pivot, not a pivot, but like, New Blood was supposed to be the end. So now the question becomes, okay, so what do we do with all that stuff we did in New Blood? Like, how do we
Right.
use it to propel the story forward? And this is just another example of that. So
Yeah.
I think that was really, really cool.
Yeah. We do jump from there to Dexter asking Harry how he's not in a prison. Harry says he has no idea. This is where we get the whole Teddy scene. We don't need to go back over it again.
Yeah.
But
I will say this: the one thing that kind of irked me with the Logan explanation, maybe more than the actual explanation itself, and I get it. This is kind of the humor thing coming into play because Dexter has always been dark humor. I get it. But they almost like it almost felt gross turning Logan's death into a joke almost. Do you feel that?
how
Do you
did
get
they
that?
do that?
Like Teddy came in and was like, they did the thing where he's like, but I have to like, I'm the acting sheriff of Iron Lake, so I have to find justice. And they're making it seem all
Right.
dire, and then he's like, do you want to press charges?
That was
And I
so
was
funny.
and I was like,
Uh,
that is funny, but it's like, man, we're making light of the fact that Logan, like the most likable character in New Blood, was
right.
brutally unjustifiably murdered.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, you just turned it into a joke. It seemed like kind of in poor taste, but whatever. I'm not. That's a
Yeah. It
small gripe.
was in poor taste, and I wish that it had bigger consequences. I wish they had gone a different route where maybe Dexter isn't off like totally scot-free.
Hmm.
But I think they must have needed to do that just to get Dexter on the road and going without worry of Iron Lake coming after him. Um,
I would have. I actually probably would have, like, if they had done something like, because the implication is that after everything went down, Angela recanted her statement and then took Audrey and left Iron Lake, which is when Teddy becomes sheriff.
right.
Like, at that point, he's probably still knee deep in the investigation of Logan, and like seeing that Harrison fled, I'm surprised they didn't try to like just say that like Harrison broke into the police station, killed Logan to
Yeah.
save his father, and then fled the city. Like
Ooh.
that would have made more sense.
Yeah.
Even if it was obviously very, very not true.
Sure.
But hey, now
Yeah.
now we're talking about this is fan fiction, so whatever.
Right. Yeah, I did get like a solid laugh out loud
Yeah, it
from
was
because
funny.
I knew
It,
I knew that it wasn't gonna be what it seemed like when he was saying it at first, but I just didn't know the route that they were gonna go. And when he says, "I need to serve justice," and just the way that he says it is so um just so real. It's like really the way that like someone like this would
and
say it. He's just
the
like,
look on Dexter's face when he realized it, he's like, no, no,
he's
I
like,
don't want to. No.
"Do you want to press charges?" Like, it's just it's
Now
such a
here's
good line
this would have been
delivery.
amazing. This would have been amazing. Dexter Resurrection. They get to this moment. Do you want to press charges? And Dexter says yes.
Yeah, could you imagine? Oh my God.
Like that, like pull the rug out from under you. This is what Dexter Resurrection is about.
Yeah, right. Just
Dexter
Dexter in a
trying,
court of law trying to sue
Dexter
Iron
trying to
Lake.
get, yeah, he's trying to sue the police department of Iron Lake. I bet you didn't see this coming.
Right, yeah. Oh, that would have been awful. But yeah, I love Dexter's like, no, of course not. I want to get out of here as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I it made me think about I had a moment like this when I was much younger. And I in my teenage years and early 20s, I was very addicted to drugs and I had them on me like all the time. And this guy on the street had come up and like hit me a bunch of times.
Hmm.
And these cops kind of, we were in like a very downtown area, and these cops came out of nowhere and like grabbed this guy, and they were like basically arresting him. And then one of the cops came over to me and he's like, "Do you want to file charges?" And Nick, I had so many drugs on me. I was like, I was
Oh,
like, I was
that is
like,
actually the best
nope.
anecdote you could have used to like you're like it's just like if you thought this was far fetched or silly, this shit happens.
Yeah, it does. It really does happen.
Yeah,
And I was just like, nope, I just want to walk away from this as soon as I possibly can, so that you guys don't have any reason to search me.
that is
Uh,
amazing.
yeah. Uh, so then we get Claudette is the investigator,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
Claudette, Detective Claudette Wallace, I believe is her name.
Wallace.
I have
Okay,
not
yeah.
yet memorized the name of her partner because
Yeah, I don't know.
Claudette is clearly
The
the
the showstopper.
yeah,
Yeah,
but I love
exactly.
her. I love
Yeah,
her already.
she's so good. So they find the body, and she sees that the bag that the leg came out of was tied in a particular way. And Harrison has this really odd way of tying a bag. When he did it the first time, I was like, is that something that
I think
Dexter
the
taught him?
I think the
Or,
implication is that it's something Dexter taught him. Yeah, even though I don't think
okay.
they showed it on screen. I think the
Okay, that's
implication
what
is
I
that,
thought. I was like, it's got to
or
be.
it's just that's his way of tying garbage bags, which is just a giveaway. Like
Right,
that's what she was looking for. That's what she used to like figure out where the other body parts were. Which
right.
either way makes sense. So, it does
Yeah,
make more sense. That's just his way of tying bags. I don't know. It's
yeah.
funny. My wife, after we watched that episode, we were like taking out trash the other night, and she was like, "How does he do that?" And then she sat
I
there and she
know.
like tried doing it the way he did it, and then she did it, and she's like, "Oh,"
Really?
she's like, "Oh, it works."
Oh,
I
cool.
was like,
Okay, I'll have to try it.
"Yeah, yeah." I was like, "Oh, look at us learning new life skills from Dexter."
That's
Um,
great.
but yeah,
Um,
yeah. This is, I think, one of the my wife said the same thing when she saw it, and it's the first thought I had when I they did the whole scene with her like walking around, listening to the music, and like kind of like just, and he's like, yeah, she sees things different. This is Dexter's Will Graham from Hannibal or Silence of the Lambs, because
okay.
I don't know if I think you said you haven't seen that show.
I haven't seen it yet.
You should watch that show first
I
of all.
I
It's
will.
amazing.
You recommended it and I promised I would watch it and I haven't yet, but I do plan on watching it.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, Will Graham, the main character of that show, is the same way. He's like,
Mm,
his brain just works different than everybody else. So he has this very, very particular way of like looking at crime scenes that nobody else, and he sees things that nobody else does. And I was like, this is their Will Graham. They're definitely going for that, and so far it's working. I like it
yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Yeah. Yeah, she's going to be a fantastic character. She's going to be
Pain in the ass for
a
Harrison, at
huge pain in the
least.
ass. I really hope that she's not the one that catches Dexter. I want someone from the original series to catch Dexter if that's the way it's going to go down. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
Yep.
Um, so then we get
I can tell
Angel.
you this. I can tell you if you're not already aware, and because it sounds like you might not be. I can tell you
Okay.
there is at least one original cast member who has not been shown yet that is back, that was at the premiere and was announced, like, because before the premiere starts they like have all the cast members stand up and they call them out by name and they all stand up, whatever, and they
Yeah.
introduce this cast member from the original run
Well,
as
it's
a member
it's Joey
of
Quinn, right?
okay, yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
Quinn.
I wasn't
Yeah.
I was not sure if you knew, but I was like,
I had a feeling. I don't think I knew for sure, but I had a feeling that Quinn would be
you can
back.
actually spot him in the like this season on trailer that they showed after
Oh,
episode
cool.
one. Or yeah, he's in there for like a second, um,
Oh, sick.
kind
Okay.
of in the background. But yeah, he is back. I don't know what the extent of his role is, but I'm so glad they brought him back because
Well, it would make
given
sense because he was kind of on to Dexter
he
in
was
the
on to
main
Dexter,
series. Yeah.
so yeah, he has a little bit of inside knowledge there. And if he starts to suspect at all that Dexter might be to blame for what happened to Deb, which I'm pretty sure he's going to, that's part of what they have planned for him. Nobody
Yeah.
deserves to be involved in taking Dexter down more than Quinn, probably, because
Correct. Yeah.
Quinn loved Deb, and I always felt really bad about like that. My favorite thing in the last episode of the original show of Dexter was probably Quinn's reaction to finding
Mm.
out Deb was in a coma.
Yeah.
Um,
Remind me, what's the scene like?
I mean, he's just like Dexter shows up at the hospital after thinking that Deb's going to be fine. She's going to pull through, and Quinn is the one that turns around and tells him that he doesn't know what happened. They don't know what happened, but she slipped into a coma and she's a vegetable, basically.
Yeah.
Um, and he's in tears, and Dexter is just there thinking, you know, she's gone. My
Right.
sister is gone.
Right.
But you can't see it in Dexter's face because, oh, look, a puppy.
Oh, there he is.
You can see it in Dexter's face because you can't see it in Dexter's face because he doesn't cry.
Right.
But Quinn is just fucking. I wouldn't be surprised if they mentioned that. Like, I remember
Yeah.
the day Deb died, and
You
you
didn't.
were you were blank.
Right.
You were just empty.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
so I'm hoping that they have plans for him to kind of come back and help Batista, because if anybody can get justice for Deb, Quinn deserves it. So
Right. Right. Well, speaking of prior castmates, we get Angel, and he
hell
comes
yeah,
in, and we talked about this. This scene was so intense. It was
yeah.
so intense.
So much
And
subtext.
what's that?
So much subtext
Yes,
in this scene.
absolutely. Yeah, you have to really know the original series to kind of get all of these references. And yeah, they talk about, he was like, Angela thought that you were the Bay Harbor Butcher. LaGuerta thought you were the Bay Harbor Butcher. Dokes always used to call you creep motherfucker, amongst a million other things. Um, and then it's such a good scene between the two of them. Like, they go back and forth quite a few times, and Dexter, like, I feel like he's kind of off his game right here. Like, he
I
really
mean,
doesn't
of
have
course he
his.
is.
Yeah, he
He's completely caught off guard, and he just got out of a coma. He is
yeah,
definitely off his game.
yeah.
Um, Also, this is kind of a funny aside. At the panel the night before the premiere, they showed a handful of like short clips from the episode that hadn't been shown yet, and one of them was this scene, and it
Oh,
was Batista talking to Dexter, and they showed it all the way up until he asked, he's like, the last thing I saw of you was security cam footage of you wheeling Deb out of the hospital. What did you do with Deb? And then it cut, and the
oh,
whole room was like, nah.
oh
Like,
no.
people were like, don't show us the rest.
Yeah,
And I was just like, holy shit, I did not think they were gonna go there. So
right,
now he's like, what the fuck did you do with Deb's body? Like, and I was like,
right.
I didn't see that coming.
Dexter had a great answer though. He was like, I was filled with grief and like I wanted to die, and so I just took her out into the storm and the
Yeah,
boat capsized. And
yeah.
um
But like, you also got to remember too, at that point, nobody thought she was dead. They thought she was in a coma. So as far as
yeah,
he knows, he wheeled his living sister out onto the boat and took her out, and she died because of him.
right.
I don't know if they're gonna dig that deep, but like, that's part of it.
Right. Yeah, that's certainly
Yeah,
part of it. Like, he kind of killed Deb.
yeah.
Um
Even though she was clearly, she was not
yeah,
gonna recover. Like, that's still technically murder.
right. Right.
Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
it was just a really really great scene, and like
Yeah.
to see it kind of shift from hugs and cubanos to
Mhm.
like getting the eighth degree about all these little things, and him having to think really fast on his feet to answer these questions. And then he kind of ends the scene by like saying he's about to like walk out, and he says, by the way, I had you legally resurrected. And I was like, damn.
Oh my God.
And
That
then
moment. Ooh.
and then you hear Dexter say, or is it because you know you can't prosecute a dead man? And I was like,
Yep.
that's definitely it.
That's
that's
definitely
that's
it.
definitely the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I Yeah, I don't know. Cause there's got to be so many like legal implications of like someone coming back like that, like finding out that somebody faked their death. Is that not like a crime or
oh, I'm sure it is if you can find someone who wants to press charges for it, but
yeah,
somebody has to feel like wronged by that
right.
act and then like decide to take legal action against it. So like I
Yeah.
that's probably why it's not really a big deal in this
Mm,
case. But
yeah.
um, Batista could technically do it, but I think Batista realizes there's maybe a bigger
Yeah.
end game here to this, so he's like, I'm just going to bring him back, and then
Yeah.
we're going to see where it goes,
Right.
uh, which is
Right.
clever. I think that was super smart, and man, it kind of gave me chills. I was like, oh shit, it's
Yep.
on, and
It's
Dexter knows it's
on.
on. And like
Oh,
I love Batista and I love Dexter and I love how they kind of have this old friendship, and they probably still have a fondness for each other, but they're now on opposite ends or opposite sides of the um,
yeah.
conflict or whatever. And I think that's going to be a really interesting dynamic to play out.
Yeah.
Like that, you got one of the biggest complaints about the end of New Blood was that we never got to see that their reunion happen. Everybody thought it was coming, and then they just kind of like at the last second made a left turn and he never got it.
Yeah.
So now you're going to get it over the course of at least one season, maybe multiple seasons. Like that's sick.
Yep. Yep.
I can't wait.
Super awesome. Super awesome. We do get a cool scene where the nurse that's helping him is telling him about the body that was found that was cut up into 9 pieces. And I love this moment where Dexter is like, it's just like I taught Harrison. Like
Yeah,
he's following in my footsteps. Oh my
yeah,
God. Just that
yeah.
light
I
bulb
also
moment.
like I like the humor of the scene where she's like, she says something about serial killers are all crazy white guys.
Yeah.
And she's like, sorry, no offense. And he's just
No
like,
offense. Yeah.
he's in the middle of thinking about the fact that Harrison and he is in fact a serial killer and he's a white guy. And he's just like,
Yep.
yeah, none taken.
Yep.
But it's totally true.
Yep. Yep. And then yeah, we get the whole like runaway where Angel comes back and he the other guy.
He's in the shower. It's been 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's been 45 minutes. Dexter has snuck across to the other room, grabbed the guy's keys and everything, and hopped out the window.
Yeah.
And I just love this moment where he's like walking up to the thrift store or whatever,
Yeah.
and he's like in this like gown and
He
scrubs
looks
and
like an
everything.
escaped mental patient.
Yeah, people look at him like he's just like, hi. Oh, so good. So yeah, he runs away with the guy's truck. Um, and then we get the scene of Charlie going into Red's apartment and kind of looking around and trying to find his little trophy area.
This
Um,
was such a brilliant way to introduce this character.
and the red right hand plays from
Red
the
Right Hand immediately made me think of Scream because that's like kind of the
oh,
unspoken theme song of Scream. Like they've used it in almost every movie.
is it okay?
That's the first place I ever heard it. I know it's a Nick and the Bad Seeds song, I guess.
Okay,
And it's been used in a lot of places. That's just where I know it from. But like
interesting.
I do know that Scott Reynolds is a big Scream fan. I mean, he's a big horror guy, but he loves
Okay.
Scream. And actually, I messaged him on Instagram the day after the premiere, and I was like, "Bro, I have to ask, was that supposed to be a nod to Scream or just general use of the song?" And he's like, "Well, I love Scream. It's like one of my favorite movies, but the song also has once you know more about Charlie's character, the song has more meaning to it. So it
Okay.
works both ways." But I was like, God, it's such an amazing song,
That's so great.
such a cool scene, and man, it immediately made me like Charlie. I was like,
That's awesome.
and you can tell like I don't, you're trying to figure out kind of like what kind of person is she, because she's clearly very serious and very intimidating,
Yeah.
but also like she's very smart and very resourceful, and she pulls out what is clearly a box of trophies from this
Yeah.
killer, and then she opens it up and she's going through it and she's like, fucking psycho.
Psychopath. Yeah.
So she's like, so she's clearly kind of like, she's not one of them.
Right.
She thinks they're fucking crazy, but it makes you wonder, like, why is she doing this?
I think she's like
Yeah.
special ops or something, or like former special ops or a
I think she
Marine.
is too, but it just makes you wonder, like, if she thinks these people are fucking psychos, what exactly is it that's keeping her tethered to this, clearly to who we're going to
Money.
find out? Yeah, but like, we know we're eventually going to find out she's connected to Peter Dinklage's character.
Right.
But I think there's a lot to unpack there. I think we're probably going to find out some shit we didn't know. I mean, we're obviously going
Sure.
to find out some shit we didn't know about her character, and I'm really, really, really interested to find out. That's maybe one of the biggest things I have no clue. No fucking clue.
Do you think she ends up siding with Dexter to kill other serial killers? Not like a team, but like...
I will say this, and this could mean any number of things. Honestly, this could even be kind of a this could be a what do you call it? A red herring situation.
Sure.
But she is Uma Thurman is credited as a series regular, meaning multiple seasons. So I don't know. I mean but I think they've done that in the past before for characters that were killed off in one season. But I don't know. I don't know what dynamic she's going to have. There was a lot of behind the scenes stuff of them together, filming together.
Yeah.
So they're going to cross paths and work together in some capacity. I don't know what that ultimately ends up being.
Nice.
I kind of hope she ends up being an ally.
Yeah.
For Dexter.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Real quick, going back to Red Right Hand, it made me think of I don't know why I'm blanking on the name right now. Not Boardwalk Empire, but the one that Cillian Murphy was in.
Oh, Peaky Blinders.
Peaky Blinders, yeah, that's the theme song.
It was it was used there too. I forget. Good call.
Yeah.
Also an amazing show.
So good. I love that show. So she delivers the invitation. We get back to Dexter. Somebody, I forget, I didn't write it down, but something happens, like somebody cuts him off in traffic or
he almost
something
runs somebody
like
over at a crosswalk, and the guy like does the New York, like, what are you doing? I'm walking
here.
Sorry, I know if anybody's listening from New York, I know that was probably really offensive, but like that, that's what they were going for, like the New York attitude, and the guys, like, what are you doing?
Right,
asshole, me over.
Yep. And I love Harry just like looking at him and saying, doesn't fit the code, and Dexter just like turns from him and starts driving, goes, no shit, Dad.
Yeah.
And I love all these moments with him and Harry. Like I feel like before he used to call him Harry a lot, and now he's calling him Dad. Is that is that anything you noticed? I noticed the word Dad come up a lot.
Yeah, it came up a lot too, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're trying to kind of like very subtly, because there's been a lot of talk like in interviews and stuff where they're talking about clearly like the events of New Blood have kind of given him a quote unquote new lease on life. Yeah. And there's a moment at the end of episode 2 that we'll talk about.
Yes.
That kind of implies that he is changed kind of a little bit. So and I'm wondering if this is kind of linked to that in some way. So
yeah. And then the episode ends with him seeing Harrison.
Yeah.
And this is I
could cry.
Well, I could cry. Yeah, it was so good.
I can't cry.
Yep. Oh man. So good. And if that was like the only episode we had gotten, that would have been tough. But also understandable. Yeah. But yeah, he sees Harrison, and we get a lot of moments throughout the next episode of him telling Harry why he's not going to like introduce himself, and I want to get to that as we get to it in the notes, but I really that might be like one of my favorite aspects of the show so far.
Yeah, it's I think they're handling a lot of these elements very smartly so far. So
yeah. Also, the first episode was called A Beating Heart.
Yeah. And
the second episode is called Camera Shy. As we go into this episode, we see the dark passenger killer.
Actually, can I pause there?
Yes, of course. Break? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Okay. You need a bathroom break?
Yes. Be right back.
Okay. I got you.
Oh, you were there. You could hear me?
Yep.
Oh,
No, I couldn't hear you. On the bottom of the screen I have like a little tiny thing where it like shows your camera basically.
oh, gotcha,
I just saw you
gotcha.
popping. Okay, so episode 2 is called Camera Shy,
Yeah.
and we see the dark passenger killer, I think for the first time, right?
Mhm.
Like we
Yep.
didn't really see him in the first episode. Um,
Well, you see him leaving his apartment when Charlie is
right,
before she
right,
goes
right.
into it.
Yeah, yeah. So apparently his whole thing is that he kills, immigrant cab drivers.
I have a
Be
theory.
Oh, go for it. I think I'll probably agree with you.
I've been thinking about this a lot
Okay.
because this opening scene, you see him going and just randomly trying to get into ride shares,
Yeah.
and then he ends up killing the rideshare driver. But
Yeah.
in the course of doing that, he briefly mentions that he used to be a good guy or a good kid, and
Yeah.
him and
Him and
his
his brother.
brother lost everything because of you people.
Right.
And he says, and then he keeps saying things, but you must not remember what it used to be like, and he keeps
Yeah.
saying all things, and I think it's supposed to make you think this is racially motivated, and
Yeah.
that's the first thought I had, but I actually have a different theory. I think
Huh.
that he is targeting rideshare drivers because, and this is a little bit of a stretch because I don't know, I'm basing it off the fact that I just know he has a brother.
Uh-huh.
I suspect that his brother was a cab driver
Mm.
who lost his job and his way of life, and maybe killed himself because ride shares basically
Took
ruined
over.
took over and ruined the cab industry or whatever. So
Interesting.
I have a feeling he is blaming ride shares for his brother's death or his brother's suicide or something like that, and that's why he's just randomly taking out rideshare drivers, because that is a thing.
Interesting. Yeah.
There was this whole thing about when Uber started becoming popular, and how cab drivers, especially in places like New York, were losing like all of their business, and they couldn't afford their
Yeah.
cars.
And
Or
New York is kind of known for like taxis and cabs
yeah,
and
so there is,
mm.
and I think they've kind of found, as someone who was just in New York,
Yeah.
um, cab drivers, I've noticed, are becoming even more aggressive than they were before, because they're having to try to beat, like they are going, and I don't know if this is recent, but like as I was leaving the airport and having just arrived in New York City, there were yellow cab drivers standing in the baggage claim area trying to flag people down, asking if they need rides before they
Oh,
got to the ride share pickup area.
right. Yeah.
So it's like this really aggressive like competition between cab drivers and rideshare drivers, and I think things have gotten better. Maybe, I don't know, but there was a whole period of time where like cab drivers were just like losing their way of life because they could not compete with Uber or Lyft. Um,
Interesting.
so I think that might be what they're playing with here.
Okay, yeah, I definitely went down the like racially motivated rabbit hole. I thought that maybe one of them had like drunkenly hit and killed his parents,
I
or
mean, it could be something like that. Maybe like an Uber ran over his brother or something. When you say it like that, it sounds silly.
I
But
know it
like,
does, yeah.
he could be blaming his brother. It sounds like his brother means something to him, like it's very
Yeah,
important to him, and it sounds like something may
right.
have happened to his brother, and he blames rideshare drivers for that.
Okay, so I took it to mean that his brother was still alive. Like like you took everything from my brother and I, meaning like our family or like our
It's
parents.
possible. I mean,
Mm,
anything's possible at this point. Only reason I say I didn't suspect that maybe he himself was a cab driver was because we know he's like this like smart tech
this
security
tech guy, yeah.
guy.
Okay. Yeah,
But
that's a good point.
yeah,
Interesting. I did not look at it that way, but I like the theory a lot.
this was a theory that just occurred to me today.
Oh,
After
cool.
I watched the episode a second time, and I was like,
Hmm.
wait a second.
Yeah,
What
that's
if the
really
brother
interesting.
comment was more important than I initially gave credit for?
Yeah. Yeah, really, really interesting serial killer, because if it is revenge motivated, then it's not necessarily um I guess not that he couldn't be a psychopath, but
Yeah,
it's not like I have a need to kill. It's
right.
more like I want to get revenge.
He seems pretty, to me, he's like just his persona, like that whole scene where you meet him in the beginning, I really liked. He was really
Yeah.
creepy. There was something off about him.
Yep.
He seemed kind of like there was something,
Antisocial.
yeah, antisocial underneath, and he also just seemed like for a minute he seemed like maybe a normal, like kind of a like a nice guy, but
Yeah.
with something like a secret or something.
Yeah.
And then it starts to get a little bit more antagonistic, and I was like, oh, here it comes.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and like the fact that all of his trophies are driver's licenses from these rideshare
Y-
drivers with like their
Yeah.
blood smeared over their
Y-
face, I was like,
y-
that's cool.
Yeah,
That's fucked
really
up.
interesting.
Yeah.
Really cool trophies we're getting to see. And I think we'll see a lot of that in this
Mhm.
season is all these different serial killers with their specific kind of
Yeah, I'm really
trophies.
excited. I'm really excited to see, especially all the guest stars that are serial killers,
Yep.
that we know about. I think they're going to be really, really, really cool.
Yeah. And his infrared hood is
Oh, that
really
was
cool too.
cool.
That is so
That is,
sick.
and I didn't catch this the first time I watched it, but because I was like, there's any number of reasons why you could maybe call this episode camera shy, but I didn't realize when they're, because someone tells
Oh.
Dexter about the thing, it's called a camera shy. Like that technology is called a camera shy hoodie, because
Okay.
the infrared hoodie is what blocks your face, um, and it's called
Very
camera shy. And I was like,
interesting.
oh, that's neat. That's
Yeah.
neat.
That's cool. That's cool.
And the way he uses that to kind of identify him later by like pretending to take the picture of the bridge and then turning around like he's looking at the pictures on his phone, but he's just looking through his camera to see if the infrared lights were
Yeah.
on. I was like, oh,
Right. That was
that was really
brilliant.
smart. That was
So
good Dexter.
good.
Good classic
Yes.
Dexter. Yeah.
Yep. So good. So good. And it's cool to see Dexter using obviously like smartphones aren't new technology, but compared to the original series, right,
Yeah.
where you're using like blackjacks and flip phones and
Yeah.
stuff, like it's cool to see
It wasn't really a
Dexter with a
component.
smartphone.
Yeah. And it's kind of nice because the implication is that there was a 10-year gap between the original series and New Blood, and he
Yeah,
was probably, along with everybody else, kind of learning how to use this technology. So it's not like,
right.
it's not weird that he suddenly knows how to use a
Right.
smartphone effectively and stuff like that.
Right, exactly. So we get Dexter watching Harrison, trying to help him cover his tracks. And I can't remember if it's here exactly, but I think Harry is kind of asking him, like, why, like, you need to go be with him, like, go find
What are
him
you
and,
waiting for?
yeah,
Go
tell him
approach
that
him.
everything's okay. And Dexter's like, no. At some point in this episode, he says, Harrison clearly knows, like, I think after he sees like the crime scene and everything,
Yeah,
he says something to the effect of Harrison clearly knows what he's doing. Like he's being smart about this. Like he's not doing a bad job.
yeah,
He's like, I'm just here to go behind him and be his dad and just make sure be a shadow that makes sure that he doesn't get caught and that he's cleaned up every little piece. But he's doing a good job. And
yeah.
so I
And then
loved,
he compares it to the way he was when he was younger and he was still learning, which we just saw in Original Sin, like
yeah,
how Harry was constantly there to try and clean up his messes and stuff.
yeah.
Um,
Oh, it's so good. I love the parallels and I think that is my favorite thing about the season so far is Dexter like he's like, "Nope, I'm not going to go and throw him off. I'm not going to, throw off this whatever mojo he has going on. I'm just going to hang back. I'm going to watch him. If he needs my help, I will step in and I will make sure that he's, not getting caught. I'll look at his kill scenes, I'll check out his kill table and just make sure that everything is running smoothly. And I love how, he goes in, he's climbing the hotel, which was really funny because he's just been a
he doesn't know where the crime
gunshot.
scene is. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And he doesn't know where the crime scene is. So he's like, it's weird being a civilian trying to find the crime scene. Um,
and this was the first time where I was like, yes, because I was really worried that they were going to kind of just like after he gets out of the coma and leaves, they were just gonna kind of hope the audience forgot that he was recovering from a gunshot wound.
Right. Yeah, no, it's super prevalent.
They keep bringing it up and pointing out that not only is he getting older, but he just got out of a coma and he's recovering from a gunshot wound. And several points in this episode, the physicality of that takes a toll on him. So he's like
Yeah.
climbing all these steps in this hotel and he's getting winded. And
Yeah.
he's like, fuck, I can't even climb these steps. This is
Right.
ridiculous. And I have a feeling that's going to continue to happen
Yeah.
more and more and like more increasingly interesting ways. Like I'll be interested to see what it's like the first time he tries to do a kill
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
post coma.
Yeah.
But there's also a component of that conversation you mentioned that I really liked because he's resisting going up to Harrison, but he says at one point he says, I think the last thing he needs is another one of his dead bodies showing up, which I thought was really funny. And the other thing he
Well,
says
yeah,
is
okay.
that not only does he think that I'm dead, but he thinks he killed me.
Right.
So like he's showing up right now just out of the blue would probably just fuck him up
Blow
even
his
more.
mind, yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be good. And
Yeah.
what's really interesting is Harrison sees his victims. So, I mean, he sees Dexter in this episode and he
That was
thinks
so
that he's
smart.
a vision. So
That
good.
was so smart. Yeah, he literally sees Dexter for real coming out of the hotel and just assumes he's having a vision. I was
Yep.
like, oh my god, that's so smart.
It's brilliant. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And I legitimately love like all the visions he's having of that guy that he killed with the toilet.
Yeah,
roll.
they're scary. Some
They're
of them are
scary, dude.
scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, another thing about Dexter getting older, what I think is really interesting is if you go back to I think it would have been season 7 with Hannah McKay.
Mhm.
Well, there was like almost like a flash forward where an older Dexter is sitting at the table with Hannah McKay and like children and all this stuff, and and he's like going off to do a kill, and he comes home and hello, honey, and sits down at the table and everything.
There's a kill scene that he's envisioning of himself when he's older and he has like gray
Yeah.
hair.
And he looks like that now.
Yeah.
Like he really does. He looks like that now.
He does look like that. He doesn't have as much gray hair as he
Sure.
did. Like this scene back in season 7, he had like legitimate
full
like,
gray hair. Yeah.
He's going gray.
Yeah.
But yeah, he definitely has kind of like filled into that
Vision.
visage. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so good. So good. Okay, so Dexter believes he's doing a good job. He's protecting him from the shadows. Yeah, such a good, unique look on this because I think that I think that in perhaps an alternate timeline they could have had Dexter go and because in New Blood he's obsessed with being close to his son. He's obsessed with like he's like, no, I want him to be with me all the time. I want to talk to him and show him these things. And now he's like learning from his mistakes. And he's like, I need to just let Harrison. He even says at one point, he's like, Harrison is figuring out his own code.
And he also said because in the first episode when he's talking to Harry, he says when Harrison showed up in Iron Lake, I tried to shape him into my own image, and it's like acknowledging that like he's afraid to let himself be around his son because he knows that's a real threat. Like he might end up trying to do that all over again.
Yeah,
because he can't really stop it. And that was the whole reason why he left him to begin with, is he started to realize that I can't be around my son because I'm just gonna fuck him up.
Yeah.
So having him suddenly come back in New Blood was very much a like that plan didn't work. He just kind of like boomeranged right back to me, and the thing that I was worried was going to happen happened.
Right.
And now he's looking at it like I'm just going to watch from afar. Like I just want to make sure he's okay, and I don't want to interact with him because it's going to be bad.
Right. A couple funny moments back to back. Dexter is like looking down the hallway and he says, cameras at the elevators. And then Harry says, not really an issue for me, and walks right by it.
Yeah, they're having fun with it, which is good. I mean, they were having fun with Deb in New Blood,
Yeah.
so I'm glad they're continuing to do little things like that. Like that was just a nice little
Yeah, just a
Injecting
funny
some humor
moment.
into it, yeah.
Yeah,
And honestly, I gotta say, like, I didn't even realize how much I missed having Harry there until I had Harry back. Um,
it's
and
so
yeah, and
good.
I will say
Do you-
this too at that panel with James Remar,
yeah.
protect that man at all costs. He is the sweetest,
Oh,
like
I'm sure.
every time he had a chance to talk, he just started talking, like gushing about like how much he loves the show and how much he's so thankful to be in the show and how much he thinks of
Aw.
everybody as a family. And like you could see like Michael C. Hall was just like had this big grin on his face, like almost like oh my god, dad's making me
Yeah.
blush or whatever,
Right.
kind of
Yeah.
thing. And like everybody in the room was just you could hear audible like oh, just like everybody
Yeah.
was oh my god.
So good. I love that. I love
Yeah,
that so much.
such a good dude. And he's also, I will say, but he was also the only person that when they arrived, at least that I saw, when they arrived at that panel, they kind of like zipped everybody into like a side door to go in, and there was
Yeah.
people outside waiting. James Remar walked up. It was the one who walked up to the side and started talking to people and signing
Oh,
stuff. And
cool.
yeah, I think he's just really happy to be back.
That's very great. Do you
Yeah.
know why he didn't come back for New Blood? Was that
Um,
ever answered?
I don't honestly think they asked him. I think they saw the potential of using Deb, and that was at the
Yeah.
time maybe a more interesting thing to
Idea.
explore. And I think it
Sure.
was the right move.
Yeah, I do
Um,
too.
but finding a way to make more sense to have him in Resurrection, I think works is just as brilliant as using
Yeah.
Deb in New Blood. So
Yeah. It's so good. Um, I love the conversation between Angel and Teddy where they're like sitting down at a coffee shop and Angel
oh
is
my
just
god,
like baffled by the incompetence of
I don't even
Teddy's like he's like
I don't
asking
even
him
know if
questions
it's
and Teddy's like, I don't know. I don't really know.
I
I
don't
didn't
know if
think
it's
about it. Like
I don't know if it's incompetence. It's just more of just like it's just like, does anything
small
exciting
town.
happen in this place? Like, I
Right.
ask you if you know anything about Dexter, and you tell me that he likes tuna.
Yeah.
It's just like, God, what is this place? He's so used to being in Miami that he comes to this like tiny town, and it's like, oh yeah, everybody loves Jim. He loves tuna, and it's like,
Yep.
what the fuck is going on?
Yep.
I honestly like I was kind of expecting Teddy to like be in and out and like his cameo in the first episode was it. And
Yeah.
now I'm wondering if they're actually using him more. Like if is he gonna keep making like recurring appearances like this? I don't know.
I think it would be cool if Teddy was involved more and kind of had like a real like awakening, like a
Give
real
him
like
where he
shock.
becomes I want to give him a moment where he kind of like redeems himself as a law enforcement professional because he's been
Right.
kind of the joke since the
Yep.
beginning.
Yep.
Um, but like I kind of want like him. I want there to be a moment where he does something that makes Batista go, "Damn, Teddy."
Yeah.
You
Right?
know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be sick. That would be
Yeah.
sick. And I think it's funny that like Angel is kind of like, does it not bother you at all that his name is Dexter, not Jim?
Yeah.
Like the person
Yeah.
you knew is not named Jim. Does that not seem weird to you?
Yeah. I think Teddy is just I don't think I think Teddy is just really innocent at this
Oh
point
yeah.
in his life. I
Super
think
innocent.
he just doesn't realize how fucked up the world is.
Right. Yep.
Um, but I kind of hope he has. I kind of hope he makes some more appearances, and I hope he has maybe more interact. I hope maybe he starts to realize Dexter is dangerous, or Dexter is who they
Yeah.
start to say he is, and he starts to kind of like open his eyes to like, oh shit, um, this is messed up.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, it's cool. I'm glad to see that he's 2 for 2. He's been in 2 episodes out of 2 so far, so
Yep.
we'll see what happens.
Yep. So Dexter checks out the kitchen, and even he says it's kind of a perfect kill room. Like it's
Yeah.
kind of good.
I love how he kind of like he's like he goes in and he sees like the kitchen is really active. So he's
Yeah.
like, well, this is clearly not ideal. So he goes out into the lobby and orders 2
Or two
cheeseburgers
burgers. Yeah.
while he waits for the kitchen to close.
Yeah.
But that was also just a really natural way of like kind of answering that question for the audience, because I'm sure we all thought like, how the fuck did Harrison go into the kitchen
Yeah.
and do this? And it's like, well, the kitchen closes at 11:30 or whatever time
Right.
it was. And
Yeah,
this
it
was
was a
like
good
2
way
in
to
the
answer that
morning.
question. Yeah.
And he locked the door and he was in there by himself, and Dexter kind of comments on like you said, like how perfect the room is for this kind of thing, and how it gets cleaned every night, and
Yeah.
how you can wash the blood into the thing, and
Yeah.
it has all these tools and an endless supply of garbage bags. It's kind of perfect, and
Yeah.
a little bit of suspension of disbelief, obviously, but still, it
Sure.
makes sense. Like it. The only question I really had before this was like, okay, before we see all this happen, is like, okay, well, what's he gonna do with the body? And then it made sense to how he got him into like the cart, and then he pushed him down the hall. He went down
Yeah.
the freight elevator, and like it's like, okay, all that checks out. And it was after
Right.
the kitchen was closed. I get it. Okay,
Yep.
questions answered.
Did you understand the whole like bleach thing where they're like, no, well, you need like oxygenated bleach or whatever? What did you understand like what Harrison mixed with the bleach to make it work for blood? I didn't understand that.
No, I mean, I think the implication is that, because I think what they're trying to point out is that while they showed a lot of the cleanup with Kurt Caldwell, that maybe there's some stuff that he showed him in the process of
Yeah.
that we didn't see. And this is maybe one of those things. Like, he showed him how to use to mix the bleach to like do this, because Dexter knew what she was talking about.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, and I think I remember there being something about, maybe there's something we don't know yet about Harrison, because he said he got his GED, and I think there's something about him studying, like he's considering going into forensics or something.
Right. Okay.
And that might not be true, but I
Okay.
think I remember something about that. So like this might be just part, like he may have learned this kind of while
Right.
starting to do some preliminary work, learning forensics
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, I don't I don't
Yeah.
know science.
Yeah, same. I love that Dexter finds the blood drop though. We get the
Yeah.
we
It
get the
reminded me. Do you remember season 6, the Nebraska? Probably my least favorite episode of the whole series, where he goes to
uh
Nebraska with his brother, whatever.
yeah.
But he's doing the thing where he's like trying to figure out if Jonah killed his mother, and
Yeah.
he's standing on the stairwell. He's doing the like with the hockey stick, and he's like doing this
Yep.
to see if there's like blood spatter, and he looks up and he's like, ah, there it is.
Right.
Reminded me of that, because he's like holding the
Yes.
blade. He like goes back, and then he just kind of like looks up, and you just see one speck of blood
Yep.
on the ceiling. And I was like, that was
Oh,
good.
it's so good. And he used
That
this
was good.
super sharp knife to just like shave it off, and it
Yeah.
falls into the cloth and like does the circle thing, and so good.
Which, by the way, I don't know if I forgot about this until the second time I watched it. That when he puts the blood on the cloth and it starts to like blossom out, like that segues into a vision or a dream that Harrison is having, where he's
Yeah.
remembering he's running up to his dad in the snow as he's bleeding out, and he's like immediately regretting shooting him.
Yeah.
And
Because we
then
didn't see that in New Blood, the immediate regret, or
I
did
don't
we?
think that actually happened. I think that's just his regret manifesting in his
Oh.
dreams.
Okay.
So yeah, in his dream, he runs up to him and he's like, "Oh my God, Dad, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." And then his dad goes, "It didn't have to be this way," and that's when he
Yeah.
wakes up, which I thought was really smart.
Yeah.
It's another really smart way of showing how
Good
he
way to lead us
processes,
into the eventual meeting.
and showing us how he truly feels
Yeah.
after the events of New Blood. Like, it's not just, okay, I stopped a killer and went on my way. It's like, I shot my father, and as much as I don't want to admit it, I really regret this.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, really, really smart.
Yep. Speaking of Dexter looking in the knife and kind of seeing his reflection and everything, did you end up making a bingo card for this?
No, I started
Oh,
to, and then I dropped the ball, and then the premiere
bummer.
stuff started coming into play. And I was like, I don't think I'm gonna have time to do it. And
Oh,
by the time I thought about it again, I was like, well, I've already seen the first episode, so I feel like maybe it's kind of a cheating if I do it now.
yeah.
I don't know. I could
Oh,
technically still do it for like all the future episodes, just not include anything that I know happens in the first two. But that feels
yeah.
like cheating. That feels like cheating. I don't know.
Sure,
I
sure.
started it. Maybe I'll finish it. We'll see.
Okay, okay. Um, just want to go for that serial
Oh,
killer. Oh,
oh, we glazed over it a little bit, but the scene, one thing I really liked was the Claudette thing where she was talking about the room and Dexter's hiding in the closet watching them investigate. And Claudette looks at this crime scene, and again, another example of how she sees things differently. She sees that this room is spotless and it's clean, and her immediate
Yeah.
reaction is test all the other rooms, and I'm going to
Right.
prove that this one is
The
the
odd
only
man
one that's
out.
clean. And I was like, I feel like that's a really smart move, and it's something that 90% of detectives probably wouldn't even think to do. It's like, why would you
Yep.
test the non-crime scenes? Like, I think that's a perfect example of how someone who sees things differently
Yeah.
might do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
she's good.
brilliant.
She's really good.
Brilliant.
I also love the scene where the tests come back and he's like, "Yep, you were right. We found
Yeah.
all kinds of fluids." And she's like, "What are the fluids?" And
Yeah.
she's just naming all of the. And he's like, "We didn't test for any of those specifically because it's just like, why the fuck would there be like spinal fluid on And she's just like
Right.
rattling them off. And I was
Yep.
like, this girl's weird,
Yep.
but
So
I love it.
good. So good. I love the ongoing joke of he stole my name.
Yeah,
And
that was that was so. First of all, I love Blessing.
yeah.
I love this man. I protect him at all costs. I think he's an amazing character. He makes me this makes me feel like this is like Brother Sam
Oh
2.0.
yeah, for sure.
Um, and I know he's credited as a series regular, but again, that could be a red herring. That doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily mean he's safe. But I kind of hope he is. Like I'm really interested to see how because he's such a positive,
Yeah.
nice person, and I think Dexter is picking up on that, and
Right.
I think Dexter genuinely likes him, and that's going to kind of develop. And I'm really fascinated to see like how that changes, especially if like does he start to suspect Dexter of being a killer himself, or does he
Right.
learn about that? It's like that's an example of a brand new relationship that I am so excited to see how it
Yeah.
takes shape because man, I like him already so fast.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's a great character, and I love that he like, he offers Dexter the apartment and all that kind of stuff, and
He meets
uh
this guy, finds out that he's brand new in New York City, and he's like, "Why don't you come to my house for a party tomorrow night?" And then he
right.
shows up, and he's like, "My wife's cooking all this good food," and Dexter's like, "I love food,"
Yeah.
and then he's just like, it just feels like, oh my god, he's like, you could tell Dexter's like, man, I kind of feel like I'm part of this family already, and I've been here for like
Right.
5 seconds, and I'm like,
Right.
I love it.
It's so good. It's so
Yeah.
good. And yeah, I love he's telling Dexter about the dark passenger killer, and he meets the guy that escaped the dark passenger killer,
Hmm.
and I just love the ongoing, like, anytime Harry's like, why do you care so much? It's like, he stole my name.
Yeah,
It's just such a
yeah.
good
I refuse to
reaction.
call him that. I'm calling him the
The
imposter.
imposter, yeah. So
So
good.
good.
Yeah.
Also, I love the scene where Blessing, like where because Blessing meets him by driving him to the impound lot because his car gets towed, and
Right.
when he sees Dexter's car come out
Yeah.
of the impound lot, and he's like, "That's your car?
He's like, you gotta get a different car.
You gotta get rid of that. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous." And you just see like he just keeps looking at it and just laughing.
Yeah. So
I was like,
good.
"Oh man, I love this guy."
Yeah. I also love when they go down into the apartment and there's like a table covered in plastic, and
Sorry, we're
Blessings,
renovating, or we're
yeah,
redecorating her.
he's like, she'll get the table out of here, and he's like, she could leave it.
Yeah, it's
So
so
funny.
so good, man. Oh
Yeah.
man, yeah.
So we,
I think this episode was kind of like firing on all cylinders in terms of like nailing the humor
yeah.
of Dexter,
Yep.
and also just kind of getting back into like the routine of like, okay, we're seeing Dexter finally do the thing that we love seeing Dexter do. I
Yep.
feel like we didn't get a ton of in New Blood because
Right.
the nature of that story, but now we're kind of
Yeah.
like he's back into doing Dexter stuff.
Right.
Um, but like I love how Harry's kind of giving him shit for it. He's like, now you want to become a rideshare driver? He's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I gotta get a job, don't I? And he's like, you
Yep.
just want to go after this killer. And he's like, it's called multitasking.
Yeah.
Like, I love it.
Yep.
I love it.
Yep.
I love it.
So
And like
good.
there were conversations, like interviews and stuff where they were kind of talking about like his new lease on life or whatever.
Yeah.
And the implication seems to be, and I can already kind of see it taking shape, is that like he is now that he's survived this gunshot wound or whatever, not only is he trying to make things right with Harrison, but he's also kind of like embracing. He's going to kind of embrace who he really is for the first time in who knows how long. Because
Right.
like, when was the last time, even in the original series, where like, he felt like he was firing on all cylinders? Probably season 6 was
Yeah.
when you first meet him in season 6. He's like, oh man, things are going great, and he's just
Right.
like doing his thing. And then after that, Hannah comes, and then after that, Vogel, and then all the shit happens with Deb, and then he's goes into hiding for 10 years, and then Harrison shows back up. So he's just been a fucking mess since
Right.
basically the end of season 6. So like,
Yeah.
it sounds like the goal is to kind of get him back to that point where he's just like top of his game, and he's like, I'm not going to avoid it anymore.
Yeah.
This is who I am, and that's exciting.
Yep.
That's really exciting.
Yeah, it is for sure. I'm ready to see Dexter kind of get
Be
back
Dexter.
into his, be the machine that he is.
Be the machine. I like that. Be the machine that he is, but also at the same time trying to make things right with his son. It's going to be like an interesting balancing act, but man, I can't wait.
Yes. Yep. Yep. So we get a really interesting scene where Harrison goes out with his friend, and they're like driving the cars that the valet gets to park and stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
And he's doing drugs again, which the
yeah, he's
first thing my
doing.
wife said was, I'm surprised he was going to do drugs ever again after the last time he did drugs.
When was the last time?
New Blood, he
What?
overdoses at the party.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, right, right. Yeah, he's doing coke with his friend. He wakes up in his truck like hungover.
And
And
then
then
he pulls the letter out of the glove box.
yes.
And I
Ooh,
was
that was
like,
good.
another thing that was on kind of my mental checklist of like things I want to make sure, one, that they acknowledge, and two,
Yeah.
that they address in such a way that it doesn't cheapen the impact from New Blood.
Yeah.
So like he kind of just casually he finds the letter again, pulls it out, and reads like one line out of it, and he's like, fuck it. And you could tell he's like instantly angry about his dad again. He's just like,
Right.
fucking Jim Lindsay.
Yep.
Um, and it was just like, it acknowledged that the letter existed. It acknowledges that it was important to him, that he still has it, that it's still in his glove box. And
Yep.
then he gets out of the car because he's like tired of everything reminding him of his dad,
Yeah.
and he just offers to sell his car to, I guess, his friend who buys cars. I guess, I don't know what the
Yeah.
situation is there. The guy seems to be into cars. I don't know.
Yeah. He's
But he's
really
just like,
into cars.
I gotta get rid of this truck because it just reminds me of my dad.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what do you call it? Kind of convenient, because the whole thing with Angel and Teddy, or Batista and Teddy, was that Batista asked him
Yes.
if you could put a thing alert out if something happens with his car, like if it's sold or
Right.
whatever. So I imagine this is somehow going to alert Teddy to
Yeah.
where that truck is.
Yeah,
But
and
whatever.
maybe that'll bring Teddy into the loop again.
Yep, very well could be. It's at the very least, it's going to bring Angel to New York City. We know that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Um, okay, so Dexter stands outside the tech place and sees Ronald Schmidt, if that's his real name. He catches him on camera, seeing that he's wearing his hoodie and everything. He goes to get into your car, but Dexter stops him, and just like the weirdest way to say it, he was like, "Don't steal my your car." And
I really like this because like it kind of it reiterated how kind of creepy his like thing is, where he's just like literally he's finding a bunch of Ubers or whatever they're called,
yeah,
and just being like, who's gonna let me get into their car without checking that I'm the
right,
person they're supposed to be picking up?
right,
That's why in the beginning he's like, hey, are you looking for me? And he's like, unless your name is Jessica. And he's like, well, this one's not gonna work.
right,
So he's just luck of the draw. Just whoever lets him into his car is the
right,
unlucky victim or whatever.
right.
And Dexter immediately goes and kind of like steps in and is like, don't take my car, don't take my
Yeah,
ride.
yep,
And that look, it reminded me of they made a point of it with the Nurse Mary thing, where like they looked into each other's eyes and like they could
yeah,
see that like they were alike or whatever, or
right, yep,
I don't know, that may not have been what they were going for, but that's what it reminded me of. But like
sure,
there's this moment where Red is just kind of like looking at him like, my bad. But
Yeah.
he's like looking like, the fuck was this all about?
Yeah.
And then he walks away. But like
Yep.
also, that was very unusual for Dexter, which leads us
Yep.
to the next scene.
Yep. Yeah, so he chases him into the subway, but he gets hurt because of his
Some dude like
gunshot
shoulder
wound.
checks him.
Right. Yeah, he's just like, "Oh." And he loses him. Um and Harry is asking, do you remember exactly what Harry's asking him? I got
Yeah,
the next
I mean,
part, but
yeah. So basically, he's like, "What the hell was this?" Because before all this happened, he basically tells Harry that I'm not. This is just vetting. This is all I'm doing. I'm not ready
yeah.
for a kill yet. This is just basic vetting. I'm not gonna like talk to him or anything
Yeah.
like that.
And he's like, "What's your plan? Like,
Yeah,
what
he's like,
was your
what? He's
plan
like,
here?"
he's like, what are you doing? What was your plan here? You said you were just vetting him. You weren't gonna enter. You weren't gonna step in. And he was like, he was gonna kill that driver. And
Yeah.
he's like, but so that's unusual because usually you don't do things like this to save
Right.
people. You do it in the interest of killing them, which you said you weren't gonna do today.
Right.
And he's like, you're right. That is different. And then
Yeah.
it ends with him being like, since when do you care about other people? And I just love that he's like walking up the steps and he's like, since
Since now.
now.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's kind of an
Ooh.
interesting idea. Like something about his experience almost dying, maybe some of meeting someone like Blessing kind of like
Yeah.
rubbed on him a little bit, maybe wanting to be a better person for his son.
Yeah.
Like all these things kind of coming together, making him realize that okay, maybe I am changing a little bit
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
like an unexpected way. And I was like, that's an interesting idea. Like
Yeah.
let's explore that.
Well, I also kind of wonder if it stems from, in New Blood, Harrison says something to the effect of, "Oh, you're like Batman,"
Yeah.
and Dexter was kind of like, "Yeah, I guess I kind of am," and
I
maybe
prefer the
he's,
Dark Defender, which is a nice
yeah,
throwback.
yeah, exactly. And I kind of wonder if he like wants to live up to that ideal
Maybe. Yeah,
that his
maybe.
son has. And also,
That's
I'm
actually a
sure,
really good point. Like realizing that like the thing that his son wanted him to be when he first started to find out more about him was that he
yeah,
looked at him and thought of him as a hero.
yeah,
And he's like, maybe my path forward is to embrace that.
yeah,
And like, but he's doing it subconsciously, maybe like he doesn't even
yeah,
realize he's doing it. And
yeah,
yeah, it's an interesting idea because like everybody is Dexter has always, as long as it's been around, like everyone always loves to ask, what do you think it is about Dexter that people can like get on board with, whatever. And it's like to some extent, everybody thinks of him as like Batman or something.
right,
That was like the first time that they acknowledged that kind of in the show itself, but it was coming
yeah,
from his son.
yeah.
So that's a good point. I never thought about that. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that too. And I think that it's also like, Dexter's hiding in the closet while everyone else is like looking at the crime scene and stuff. And he overhears kind of what they're talking about. They're talking about like, there was Rohypnol found like in his luggage and all this stuff. And so Dexter's like, oh, he's probably protecting someone. It seems like he's developing his own code where he's going after this guy that was trying to assault this woman.
Hmm.
And so maybe there's a part of that that kind of makes Dexter want to do the same thing or
Yeah,
similar.
maybe he's starting to like Harrison is developing his own code, and maybe he's like, well, maybe I should learn from my son
Yeah.
this
Like,
time. Maybe instead of being the teacher, I should be the student in a way. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
maybe I should maybe that's my way back in. Maybe that's
Yeah.
my way forward with my son is to show him that like I'm not a monster,
Yeah.
or at least I'm not the monster that he thinks I am anymore.
Right.
Maybe I can do things for better reasons, like acknowledging that like I'm still going to kill because I have to, but like
Yeah.
maybe I can shift the way I think about it a little bit,
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
is
for
stuff
sure.
something that he's always told himself is impossible.
Right.
But maybe
Yeah.
this
Cuz
is like this is the thing that kind of makes him realize maybe it's worth trying. to do
Yeah,
that.
because he's always had like a very downer look on who he is, and like, oh, I can't be a good person, or like I don't have it in me to do that.
Yeah,
Um, and maybe this is his redemption arc to some extent, where he's kind of like, maybe I can do good with this thing that I am.
yeah.
Um, so
I
that's
like that.
really
I like that idea. I like that idea because I've always loved the idea that as much as I love the character, at his core, he is a psychopath. He is
mhm.
incapable of empathy, and even though he's technically doing things and it's having a positive impact
Yeah,
on in that it's saving people, that's not why he does it. And I've always liked that, but like to see that they're going to maybe possibly explore a way in which that might actually change for him
yeah,
because he thinks it can bring him closer to his son is a really interesting arc. And I don't know if
yeah,
it's possible, but like it makes you it's just another thing to like make him a likable character to the audience, because
yeah,
even if that's not possible, the fact that he's now willing to try it, or he's even subconsciously trying to do that because he
yeah.
wants to be a good father, is a really interesting idea.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah,
I
for
dig it.
sure.
I dig it.
And the relationship with him and Harry is also kind of developing in an interesting way too. One of the things that Harry says during the subway scene is he says, he's asking him like what he's doing and everything, and he says, or Dexter says like something like, I know, Dad, or whatever.
Yeah.
And he like kind of flips out on him, and Harry says, I'm asking as your peer.
As your peer, as a father,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
we're on the same level now, because we're both fathers, we're both kind of in the same similar situations.
Yeah.
That's yeah, it's kind
That
of like
was
a it
really
almost
interesting.
it almost feels like a blink and you miss it kind of line, not a
Yeah.
throwaway line, but like if you don't think about it too hard, you could just kind of like breeze right by it. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of an important thing because this is all in his mind, it's his
Right.
subconscious. He's realizing that like him and his dad, for the first time maybe, are genuinely on the same level.
Right.
They're both trying to do what's right for their son, who are in a unfortunate situation.
Yeah.
um, and yeah, that was a really great. The use of the word peer was really smart there.
Yeah. It was really good. It caught my attention, and I was just like, oh man, this relationship between him and Harry is evolving. Not only is he not saying Harry anymore, he's saying Dad, but also like they are like very much on the same kind of level where Dexter's getting close, if not is the same age that Harry was,
Yeah,
and they're close. Their age gap is shrinking every minute
yeah,
of every day.
yeah,
And so it's really interesting to see how he's interacting with Harry differently, and it's certainly something that I noticed just in these two episodes, so I
yeah,
really wouldn't be surprised if that was developed even further as the
yeah.
season goes on.
I think that's going to be a theme of the entire, if not only season, but probably the whole series.
Sure.
I would imagine. Um, and just like thinking about all the other things that we know are coming, you got to think, you got to imagine that all those characters and storylines that we know are on the cusp of being introduced are
Yeah.
going to have to kind of tie into that and influence that theme in some way.
Yeah.
And I'm very fascinated to find out how
Yep.
that's all going to fit together. Um,
So good. Well,
yeah,
speaking of which, let's kind of wrap up with some final thoughts here.
yeah.
What are your biggest theories? What do you think the first interaction between Harry and sorry, Dexter and Harrison is gonna be like? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Um, I th- I would imagine he's going to wait until there's going to be a moment where he realizes he has no other option but to step in.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know if that's going to be like a moment of like action where it's
yeah,
like Harrison's in danger and he steps in and like saves him, or if it's going to be a situation where the walls are closing in on him because of that investigation with those detectives, and he's gonna like step in and try and get him out of that,
Yeah.
or what. But we've also seen there are scenes of like there's Batista who's gonna cross paths with Harrison, and that's gonna be really
Right.
fascinating
Yep.
to watch. So yeah, there's a bunch of converging things here, and I don't know yet where. I mean, you know, it's inevitably he's going to reconnect with Harrison, but it's got to
Right.
come at a moment that's like thematically appropriate, so that one, it it. I mean, when they come together, it's got to stick. Like
Yeah.
that's they're at that point they're back together in their relationship. With it, not saying that it's fixed, but like
Yeah. Do
they
you
got to
think
then be on the same path.
they team up, you think?
Oh man, I don't know if team up is necessarily going to. I have a feeling they're kind of going to be on their own paths
Yeah.
throughout the season, because Dexter is going to eventually obviously be caught up with what's going on with Leon, Peter Dinklage's character. And I don't really foresee Harrison getting super involved with that.
Sure.
Um, and I, but so I would imagine that Harrison's going to be on some other path.
Do
Yeah,
you
I don't know, man. It's hard to imagine. I
do you think that Harrison ever gets to the point where he is like planning a kill, or do you think it's always going to happen in like this moment of
reactionary
like
thing.
reactionary anger?
You know, I think there's something to be said about the fact that once you kill someone, you can't put that, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, as they say.
Sure.
So it's kind of like, I've done it once. What would stop me from doing it again? Kind of
Right.
situation.
Yeah.
I mean, to answer your question, yeah, probably. But
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
I don't know what form that's going to take, or why he's going to
Right.
do it, or if it's going to be at the behest of his father, or yeah, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. But yeah, I would imagine we haven't seen the last of him killing someone.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But yeah, I do think there's considerable effort here to paint him as a very different kind of killer than his
Yeah.
father. I think is the smart move.
Yeah.
Um, but also, it's cool to think that like even if he's gonna start killing for his own reasons, the thought of him like kind of learning from his father how to do it is interesting,
Yeah.
and I
Super
like it.
interesting. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, super super interesting. And I wonder, there's a couple of things I wonder around Harrison where he's got this not necessarily a girlfriend, but like a love
Someone
interest,
he
I
likes.
guess.
Someone he
Yeah.
likes, I think, a lot. And
Yeah. And
yeah, I don't
he's
know where that's
like
going either.
he like
But
watches her son and she gives him a room to stay in and stuff. Um and so yeah, I'm curious where that's going to go.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's funny because like I think about when Original Sin came out, and aside from a couple things, I felt like I had a pretty good grasp on like more or less like that whole season. Even at the beginning, I was like, I mean, I don't really know for sure like who the villain is. I think it might be this person, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like, I kind of knew what was going on, and well, a
Mhm.
lot of it has to do with the fact that it's a prequel, I'm
Yeah.
guessing. But I even think back to like New Blood, and even some later seasons of the show. I feel like of the original run, I feel like I could kind of figure out what's going on. This feels like
New territory.
new territory, and I think that's the way
Mhm.
to go. Like, you want to talk about justifying a series' existence, especially when it's a quote unquote spin-off or reboot, I mean, which everyone kind of goes into with kind of like this, you got to prove yourself attitude, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the way to do it, man. This is bold. Like, this
Yeah.
whole serial killer game or whatever that he's inserting himself into, and like it's in a new backdrop, and
Yeah.
I don't know, it's exciting. It's
Yeah.
exciting in a way that the show hasn't been. I mean, and I'm saying this as someone who's always excited about Dexter, but like this is exciting in ways that I've never felt before.
Oh yeah, for
And
sure.
I cannot wait. I
You
cannot
feel
wait.
like anything could happen.
Anything could happen, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm so kind of just, I'm so kind of in love with like all of the the guest stars that they've found and they've
Yeah.
brought together was like so unexpected, and I was
Yeah.
like, I just remember as they're like announcing all this shit, and then I'm looking at all these
It's like,
behind the
what?
scenes
You and I
photos
were
and stuff.
texting, like,
Yeah,
what? What? What?
what is going on? Like, I have no fucking clue.
Yeah.
And then to watch the first trailer and kind of see like how they're teasing and setting that stuff up, and I was like, God, this looks cool. And then I
Yeah.
just love the shot where he's like, man, you really love serial killers. And then he says something along the effects of, it's like, so there are others. And then
Yeah.
that line where he's like, they're on their way. I was like,
Yeah.
fuck, yes,
Oh, let's
yes,
go. Do you
yes.
do you think do you think we start to get introduced to Leon Prater in the next episode?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
If I had to guess, because I was originally kind of suspecting that, and a lot of this kind of had to do with like behind like the production timeline and kind of seeing some stuff like when they were filming and
Yeah.
talking to John about the stuff. And I was kind of under the impression that Red would die on the kill table in episode 4, but now I'm
Mhm.
starting to think it's going to happen this week on episode 3,
I think
and
so
that
too, yeah.
4 is going to be kind of really where the Leon Prater story kicks off. I think that's going to be the episode where he infiltrates this game.
Yeah.
Um, because episode 4 is called "Call Me Red,"
Okay. Oh,
which
yeah, okay.
sounds like he's already done the deed, and now
Right.
he's going to try and take his identity and do his thing.
Right.
Which is exciting.
Okay.
Also, we're so close, I think, to getting the scene, my favorite scene from the trailer, where he like the Unabomber
Yeah.
scene, where he turns and he's like, "How do I look?" And I was like,
How do I
like
look?
the Unabomber," and I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. It's so good. It's so good.
I fucking love that scene, man.
Any other big theories that we haven't talked about? Anything that's like that you've kind of been putting together?
Not really. I think one of the big questions I have is because, and this is like there's based on like interviews and stuff. Like Clyde Phillips has said more or less. I think this was in, like the Variety interview he did, which was like the first kind of like article where he kind of talked at length about the show,
Yeah.
all the guest stars and stuff. Is the implication seems to be that these guest stars are not necessarily going to be killed off all this season,
Right.
and that
Yeah.
they might actually become big bad villains in like the next seasons. I think at least one of them will probably be killed off.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like, you can't introduce all these characters and not give us at least one kill room scene where like one of these big guest stars gets killed off. Because like
Right.
I don't know which one it's gonna be. My theory is Neil Patrick Harris for some reason. I don't know why, but
Yeah, he doesn't
feel
feel like the kind of guy that would sign on for multiple seasons of
yeah
Dexter.
but also the same. But like to be fair, I also feel kind of the same way about Eric Stone Street. He's kind of an
Yeah.
unexpected, but I'm super intrigued to learn more about his character. But
Yeah.
yeah, something about Neil Patrick Harris just makes me think I don't think he's going to survive this season. But I suspect that one of them might bite the dust, but the
Yeah.
rest of them will survive, and they will go on either to become the main villain of the next season
Yeah.
or get their own spin-off, which is something I know that they've
Oh,
talked about doing. I think
really?
the character I suspect is Kristen Ritter. Her
Yeah,
character, Lady
okay.
Vengeance.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think her character was designed from the get-go to set her up as a potential spin-off.
Yes, okay.
I don't know if, I mean, that's just speculation, but like that certainly
Yeah.
seems to be.
That would
And
make
I learned
sense.
something about her character that I don't know I don't know is public knowledge yet. So maybe
Okay.
I don't know, but it makes me think it has to do with like kind of her MO and like the kinds of people that she kills. And I'm like,
Okay.
this sounds like spin-off material to me,
Got it. Okay.
which is cool because I love Kristen Ritter.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I think they need to keep spinning off Dexter until the end of time. It's going to be a mixed bag, I'm sure. But if they were going to do it,
Yeah.
I would watch a spin-off with Kristen Ritter. I think she's great.
Yeah. She was great in Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
What do you think Harrison still gets his spin-off? I
I
think that's like the future of Dexter.
I mean, at this
Possibly.
point, I mean, possibly. I mean, but I would honestly say I would, because now that we have Original Sin, I feel like that's maybe like I think Original
That
Sin
kind
will
of
will outlive Resurrection. It's
Yeah.
just like there's like 15 years in between Original Sin and when the original series kicks off that
Right.
is largely unspoken for. It's a young cast. Like that seems like the most likely. But
Yeah.
I could also see them, especially if like public opinion about Harrison starts to turn around and
Yeah.
people like him again, then yeah, maybe anything's possible.
Yeah.
My wife also pointed out that she feels like maybe uh, Claudette, they could be setting up like a detective spinoff, like starring. I was
Maybe.
like, I don't know, maybe, but like,
Yeah.
I like her a lot already, so like,
Yeah. She's
I
super
can't say that I
cool.
wouldn't try and watch it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I'm so excited to see Neil Patrick Harris.
yeah,
He's like probably in my top 10 favorite actors. I just love that man
nice.
so much.
I think
I'm so
his line in the
excited.
trailer is like it's time for show and tell, baby, and I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know what. I can tell he's gonna be a hoot, and
He's gonna be
I'm
so
here
much fun.
I'm here for
He's
it.
gonna be
And
so much fun.
I can never pronounce his last name. David Damastian.
I don't
Um,
know.
he's the other big guest star. He was at the premiere. I mean, that actually the only one that wasn't at the premiere guest star was Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh wow,
But
okay.
um, yeah, he's the guy from. I know him most recently from Late Night with the Devil.
Oh,
If you haven't
okay.
seen that, um, he is a character. Like he was on the red carpet, basically in character.
Oh
Like
wow.
he was trying to be super creepy.
Oh
Like
wow.
and he was wearing this like weird eccentric outfit and like doing like all kinds of weird creepy hand gestures to people on the red carpet while they were taking pictures and stuff, and I was like,
Ooh.
this man's weird and I like him. um I think he's going to be an interesting character because like the one thing we know about his character is that apparently he's this like prolific serial killer that like the FBI has been actively trying to catch for like 30 years or something like that, and he's just like they
Mm,
can't get him, even though they
wow.
know about him. So I'm desperate to like know more about him.
Yeah.
He could end up being the one that dies. I don't know, but like
Yeah.
he's just kind of this like really nice guy, but like very eccentric and kind of
Yeah.
creepy. He does. I don't know if you've seen it, but like on Instagram, I think it's on Instagram or maybe YouTube. I don't know. He's been doing this series where he like interviews people while they're both laying in coffins,
Oh,
and
weird.
they're talking about death. But
Oh
it's like
wow.
he's like interviewing celebrities and like well
Oh.
they're both like laying like this, but they're both like in coffins
Yeah.
talking to each other. And I was like, I that seems like him. I don't
Yeah.
know how to describe
That's
it. It
so
seems like it's so
interesting.
fitting for him, but like that's the kind of guy he is. Um,
Yeah.
and he's kind of this
Wow.
big name in horror, especially like this is gonna sound condescending, but like low budget horror. I think he's like a
Sure.
really big name there. But he's
Yeah.
also very recognizable. So yeah, dude, I'm so excited for all these guest stars, and obviously Peter Dinklage, man, like
Yes.
that's gonna be really cool. I think he's an amazing actor. He looks grumpy all the time, but I
Yeah.
think he's an amazing actor. And this is gonna sound really wrong. I'm not trying to, but for obvious reasons, I think it's gonna be a really amazing kill room scene.
Yes. Oh my God, it's gonna be
um,
fantastic.
yeah,
It's gonna be so
and
good for that
I say
reason.
for multiple reasons, not just that kind of like the physical comedy of it,
Yeah.
I guess, but also like just Michael C. Hall and Peter Dinklage having like a kill table
Oh,
conversation will be
dude.
fucking amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
it'll be chef's kiss. It's gonna be
Yes.
so good.
Absolutely. So that's
Do
where I'm
you
at. I'm excited,
do,
man.
do you think Peter Dinklage is a serial killer?
I
I mean,
I
he's
don't
got to be on the kill table, right?
I don't think he is like I don't think he is a serial killer. I think he is someone who I think the word I keep using based on what like the hints that we've gotten, because in the trailer or something along the line, or no, somewhere I saw somewhere he says something along the lines of I could never presume to do the stuff that you guys do.
Oh, huh.
But I think the word I keep wanting to use is voyeur.
Voyeur.
I think he is funding, like financially funding
Yeah,
serial killers to do things, and so he can either watch
yeah,
or collect like trophies or
yeah.
things from them. So he's kind
That's
of like living vicariously through them because he doesn't feel like he can do it.
Well,
which
that's
I
something we didn't talk about is the I'm sorry, finish
no, that's
your
cool.
thought.
Oh no, I mean that's kind of it. I just think I think he is. I think he will probably deserve to end up on a kill table because he is making all of this possible.
Sure.
He's guilty by proxy,
Yeah.
but I don't think he's actually guilty of killing someone himself.
Do you think that's enough for Dexter's code is to be guilty by proxy?
I think if I think maybe not initially, but
Sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if something happens. Maybe it has something to do with Harrison.
Yeah.
Maybe he becomes a threat to Harrison, and he's like, "Well, I
Yeah.
wasn't going to kill you, because you
But
don't
now
really
I
fit
need
my
to.
code, but now I'm going to because you threatened my son or something." You know what I
Right.
mean? Like maybe
Yeah.
it's something like
Ooh.
that.
Yeah, maybe he backs him into a corner or finds out who Dexter really is or
Yeah,
something,
it's
something.
gonna be fascinating because like the thought of having a villain that isn't necessarily guilty of doing the deed themselves has
Yeah.
never been done before on the show, and I think
Right.
that's really cool.
Yeah. Real quick, something we didn't talk about was Charlie goes
Mhm.
and meets up with another serial killer,
Yeah,
and she's like, we're not funding you anymore." And he's like, "Wait, no, no, I need the money, and like, I can get you trinkets or trophies or whatever."
yeah, that's what made me think he's like collecting trophies from them. Like he's having them
Yeah.
kill people so that they can then give him the trophies
Mm.
from those things. Like because he it
Yeah.
implies that he's a collector, but like collecting
Right.
what exactly? I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting.
But so
And then
whatever he's collecting, I think it's going to make him probably guilty enough to just fulfill
sure,
the code.
sure.
Yeah,
And she called him the Cleveland Clubber,
the,
right?
I think it's the
Or
Canton Clubber or something. I don't
Canton
know.
Clubber.
Is
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Canton a place in Michigan? It was
I think
implied
so,
that he's
yeah.
in Michigan. Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
And then she pulls the bat out, which is like a Negan,
yeah.
like Walking Dead style bat.
Nail bat.
Yeah. And she hits him with it. So she's
That was really cool. Like he's all he's trying to do is like he's like just give me a moment so I can talk to him with
yeah,
Peter Dinklage. And like the
yep,
moment he touches her shoulder, you just see her like squeeze the bat, like the thing of the
yep,
bat, and that was such a cool cut. She just turns and hits him, and then it cuts straight
yep,
to fucking meat hitting the Dexter's breakfast plate.
yep.
that was so good.
Oh,
That was
so
good.
good. And it's like, so is she a serial killer or is she like,
I think she's just like a henchman. I don't think she's
yeah,
actually a serial. I think she's just. I think she's loyal,
yeah,
or she is, or maybe she's being manipulated by Predator to do his dirty work or whatever. It's because I don't think she's a. I don't think she. I'm not getting like bad guy vibes from her. I'm
sure,
getting like I have a job to do and I'm really good at it. I'm gonna do it kind of
right,
vibes.
yeah.
Um,
And
so
like, how did
strangely
she get rid
enough,
of that body?
I don't know. I mean, maybe she didn't. Maybe she just
Yeah,
killed him and drove away, and she's
yeah,
confident enough that like they're not going to be able to track her vehicle or whatever.
yeah,
And
hmm,
but or she just put him in the vehicle and drove away with it. I don't know.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, she's
Okay,
definitely formidable, and
yeah.
I like her a lot. But yeah, I'm not getting bad guy vibes from her. In fact, I'm getting like
Possible
she's
ally.
possible ally, but like also maybe she's doing this because she has to because she's being manipulated or something. And I wouldn't be
Yeah,
surprised if Dexter is like her way out.
right, right.
Like
Yeah,
like you're the one who can free me from Leon
right.
kind of
Ooh,
situation. So
interesting.
maybe she's gonna help him like take out one of the other killers in the group or whatever to like earn his trust or something. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
It's it's exciting, man. This
yeah,
could go anywhere, and this is
yeah.
so sick. I'm so excited for what's to come.
Well, speaking of which, last quick thing, scenes from next week. Did you
Mhm.
watch them?
I
Because at the
did.
end of this episode, we see that Harrison is getting called in to talk to the police.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think I just when the episode ended, I just stopped it and forgot to go on to the scenes from next week. So what do we have in store?
Um, so in my brain, I'm not sure if I'm thinking of the like this season on trailer or the next week trailer
Oh,
because now
okay,
there's two
okay,
competing. But like I think next week is when Batista's gonna get the call about the truck,
right,
so he's gonna know to go to New York City. We're gonna get more Dexter stalking Red,
yeah,
and I would imagine probably the first kill room of the season.
Yeah.
Um,
Did it
and
show anything that's happening to Harrison?
see there was a scene. There was a scene where Harrison is being interrogated by Detective Wallace, but I think that might have been from this season on, where she basically
Oh,
says something along the lines of, "Now is the time for you to tell me if you have an alibi,"
mm,
to him.
okay.
So that could be next week. In
Yeah,
fact, it very well could be, because it sounds like the next time we see him, he's probably going to be on the opposite side of an interrogation table.
right,
Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's definitely, that's definitely where it's going. She's going to be a
yeah,
thorn in his side
right,
for
yeah.
sure.
Very interesting. I am super excited. I cannot wait
Yeah,
for the rest of the season. I don't know how I'm gonna do it week to week. As soon as it ends, I'm just gonna want that next episode so bad.
I feel you.
And there's a part of me that loves that, and then there's a part of me that wishes that I could just binge it all. So,
Yeah, and just generally speaking, one thing I just want to say is,
hmm
I know this was going to be an uphill battle because of, you know, the way New Blood ended. Is like a lot of people, I would imagine, were going into this thinking there's no way they're going to pull this off, or that it's going to be good or whatever.
yeah,
But like, the response has been very positive so far,
yeah,
and again, I think a lot of that has to do with kind of the people, not only Michael C. Hall and the cast, which I obviously think are phenomenal, but like,
yeah,
the best Dexter has always been the Dexter in which Clyde Phillips is kind of at the helm. And I know
yeah.
that's weird to say. I don't want to like, I don't want to kiss his feet or whatever, but like,
Sure.
he's been a great showrunner. Like, every time he's been at the helm, that's when the show is kind of firing at all cylinders and making the right decisions. He's he made an ending that people weren't happy with, but like, everything leading up to that ending, everybody was on board with and really enjoying.
Yeah,
When he was involved in the original run, everybody was enjoying it. He was at the helm during Original Sin, everybody was on board and really enjoying it. And as long as as long as he sticks around until and sees this new era of Dexter to the end,
hmm
um, I think I think we're in good shape, man. Which
yeah,
I think it's gonna beat. I think it could beat the odds, and I'm gonna knock on wood.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I feel
yeah.
good. I feel really good about it right now.
Yeah, me too. I hope it's got a fantastic ending that we all love, and again, you and I have both agreed multiple times that we enjoyed the ending of New Blood. I didn't really have.
Just needed a little extra. I
Yeah.
even told this to this was actually that guy, the person who I will not name, who's a marketing person at Paramount that I was talking to. Like, I messaged him after the premiere just to, say, hey, thanks again, blah blah blah. And he
Yeah.
was like, what did you think of the episode? So we were just having a little conversation or whatever.
Yeah.
And he, the way he framed the question was like, okay, cool, be honest with me. What'd you think of the episode? Like, he genuinely wanted to know my thoughts.
Yeah.
So I gave him my honest thoughts, and he was like, that's all fair. I totally agree, blah blah blah. Um, and he just it just seems like they're very genuinely interested in wanting
Yeah.
to do right by the characters and do right by the story. And I know it was going to be a challenge. They knew
Yeah.
they were in for a challenge, and not everything was going to work, but a lot of like, they were confident enough to move forward with it. So like, right out
Yeah.
of the gate, I imagine they probably had an idea. They were like, oh, this is exciting.
Yeah.
Hell, they got Michael C. Hall to agree to do it,
Right.
which, I know a lot of that's money, but like,
Yeah. Sure.
the guy does not mail in performances, even if he's just doing it for money.
Right.
Um, and there just seems to be, and I got this vibe when I was at the panel the other night too, like, hearing them talk about it. Like, the vibe just feels like, I feel like the vibe with New Blood was almost kind of like they were doing it because they wanted closure.
Yeah.
Like, Michael was like, I'll do this because I want closure for
Yeah.
myself and for the character.
Yeah.
Now it feels like I'm doing this because I'm genuinely excited for like
Yes.
what we're doing.
Yep.
Um, and that's super important.
That's
But
amazing. That makes me so happy.
yeah, I'm super thrilled, man. I hope they land it. I think the important thing here is, and I kind of told this to him when I was talking. I just kind of like dropped it in there. I was like, my only hope is that y'all kind of like know, like, you have a plan, like, where
Yeah.
this is going, because like, the worst thing you could do is just go into it and like, we'll figure it out when we get there. Like,
Yeah.
that's how you end up with an ending that people don't like. But like, if you know where you're going, you can like do everything you need to do to build to that moment. And like
Yeah.
I just hope that's kind of their plan. Um, and I even told him, I was like, look, I'm going to be honest, I really enjoyed the ending of New Blood. I don't think you needed to do this, but I understand why you're doing it.
Yeah.
And my only real criticism of the end of New Blood was that I feel like it needed maybe 2 more episodes to get
Yeah,
to
for
that
sure.
point. And he was like, yeah, I know 12 episodes would have been great. And I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
but he was also like, but 10 episodes is the kind of the norm now.
Yeah,
And like
unfortunately.
they knew at the time, they thought they were only doing one season. So like
Yeah.
they knew where they wanted to go in that season. They only had 10 episodes. They did what they thought they had to do.
Yeah.
Now they have a green light for however many seasons they can get out of it,
Yeah.
to tell their story. And I'm just hoping that they're going into that with some foresight, some
Right.
forethought for like where they want to take it. And I would
Yeah.
hope that like maybe when Michael is like signing on, he's like, all right, I'll do this, but damn it,
Yep.
know where we're going.
Yep.
Like
Exactly.
that's what I feel like if I was in his shoes, that would be kind of like my only demand. Like
Yeah.
just know what we're doing.
Just know what we're doing.
And I
Land the
trust,
plane.
yeah, land the plane. And I think Clyde Phillips is the person to land the plane. I know people are upset with him about the ending of New Blood, but I think he is the one to do it.
Yeah.
And you have plenty of evidence out there. Oh, this was one thing I forgot to mention. Sorry, this is the last thing
No,
I'll
you're
bring up.
good. You're
I
good.
was shocked. I was shocked to my core when I watched the end of or I finished episode 2, and the first thing that popped up was written by Scott Buck. Do you know who Scott Buck is?
He do the final seasons of Dexter?
He was the showrunner of season 6, 7, and 8, and he's the one that everybody blames
Hmm.
for kind of like the quote unquote downfall of Dexter. And but
So
like
he's
what
back.
he is back, and there were rumors that he might be involved in the project, but they
Huh.
kept it very hush hush until his name was boom right there front and center. But the interesting thing about that is that like he was super involved in Dexter since day one. He's written like 10 or 12 episodes over the course of the whole series, and some of those episodes are like some of the best fucking episodes in the series.
Yeah.
He's actually a really good writer. He's just
Yeah.
a terrible showrunner.
Okay, yeah.
I feel bad saying that, but like he is Clyde Phillips, he is not. So like if he's involved in the writing, I'm
Yeah.
here for it. And he
Sure.
like I loved episode 2, and he was the only credited writer on episode 2. And I was like,
Okay.
damn. So, interesting. Who knew?
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. That's
But I swear to
awesome.
God, if they finish season 1 of Resurrection and then Clyde Phillips was like, I'm stepping down and I'm giving it to Scott Buck,
No.
I am gone.
I
I'm gone.
know. I'd be
They'll
so
never do that.
pissed. I'd be
They
so
they
pissed.
they know they can't do that.
Yeah.
So
No, yeah. I'm hoping they land the plane. I have faith in it. I have faith in Clyde Phillips, and I think that it just needs a solid ending. Whether Dexter kind of rides off into the sunset or he dies or he gets caught, like I, I'm good with either of those like final conclusions. I just want it to be done well, and I
yeah,
want it to
and not feel
mean
rushed.
something, and yeah, not feel rushed. And you mentioned how 10 episodes is the norm now, which is really sad because I think so many shows could benefit from just 2 more
Yeah.
episodes, just a couple extra episodes,
I think
and
writers are still getting used to writing
for
story arcs that
10,
that for 10
yeah,
episodes, because like you can
yeah,
feel it sometimes, and New
yeah,
Blood being one of them.
yeah. Well, what's funny is I was watching for a podcast episode we were doing a while ago. I was rewatching The Vampire Diaries,
Hmm.
and some of those seasons have like episode 1-23 or season
Yeah.
1-23 or so. It's like they got up into like the 20s for the
Oh, dude,
episodes.
when I was growing up, quote unquote, like that was the norm. Like
Yeah,
I'm outside of Dexter. My next favorite show is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Every
right.
season of that show is like 22 to 23 episodes.
Yeah,
That was the norm. You could tell like the budgets were a lot lower, and like obviously. So now I feel like they're like, we're going to give you the same budget that we gave a 24 episode series, but we want to make it look like prestige television. We want everything to
right.
look like the production levels to be high, the casting to be really on point. Like
Yeah,
it's a trade. I feel like it's a trade off. Like they're probably spending more money to make shorter seasons of television shows because they want
yeah,
it. They want everything to give off prestige television vibes.
yeah.
I get it. I love prestige television,
Yeah, yeah, for
but
sure.
just you gotta when I guess in the writers room, you got to realize that like you only have 10 episodes. And I imagine you probably have like a board, right? Because I know you see in like writers rooms they have these like whiteboards full of like post-it notes of like ideas and how things fit together, which sounds really fun, by the way.
Yeah,
Um, but I imagine you get to a point where you're like, we only have 10 episodes. So some of these things have to go. And some
yeah,
people
it's got to
probably
be
just like,
like,
and some people are probably just like, I can't imagine letting this go. We'll make it work. We'll make it work.
yeah,
And they
oh,
just like leave too much stuff on the board.
yeah,
Um,
oh,
so it's it sounds tough. But I guess when you have a show like now with Resurrection,
yeah,
you potentially have multiple seasons. You can be like, okay, well I'll take this off the board now, but put it over there because it's going to come back up later.
right, yes,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's fantastic.
they didn't have that with New Blood, so
Right, right. Real quick, do you think, are you going to add to your tattoo, your Dexter tattoo, based
it,
on what happens in Resurrection?
maybe we'll see. I need the like
Iconic thing.
I need the iconic thing, the inspiration based on the first two episodes. I don't have that yet.
Sure, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but I don't know. We'll see. Like,
Okay.
just need that one. I have a very strict like no faces rule, like no human
Right, yeah,
faces.
same. I do
So
too.
I need some good juicy metaphoric shit
Right.
to to put on there.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
but I'm not
Exactly.
ruling it out.
Cool. All right. Well, I guess, that kind of wraps us up. We talked about, what's planned for, the rest of the season, or, hopefully what's planned for the
Mhm.
rest of the season, and our theories and stuff. And I had a great time
Mhm.
talking about these two episodes. Do you want to go episode by episode, or do you want to do like every two episodes?
That's a good question.
We can
That's a
figure it
good
out later.
question.
We don't need to figure it out now, but
Yeah, because I guess like, ask me again after we watch episode 3, maybe. I
okay,
don't
yeah, we'll see how bad we want to talk about it.
well, I feel like it makes sense. It makes more sense to do it every two episodes, but also we do talk about them a lot, so like it might be easier in shorter bursts. So
Sure.
maybe,
Yeah, might
yeah,
be an hour
maybe,
and a half episode instead of a
yeah,
3 hour episode.
maybe, but like not that's a big deal. I'm very accustomed to recording podcasts for 4 or 5 hours at a time.
Sure. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, same.
but you know, tentatively speaking, maybe episode to episode, but
Okay.
we can adjust accordingly. So,
Cool. We'll figure it out. Well, with that, my lovely Dexterites, we are going to wrap it up there. I will let you guys know in the community posts, kind of what we're thinking as far as upload times, and all of these are just live, so you can
mhm.
watch them whenever, and they go up as we record them. So, um, but I'll try to give you guys a little bit of a heads up, and let you know what's coming. Um, I will put all of Nick's links down in the description, or they're currently in there. You can go see his 4-player podcast. You can check out the Dexter Daily. And now that I know the Dexter Daily has a Discord, not only will I be joining it, but I will also make sure that link is in the description for you guys
Cool.
as well when we wrap up here. So I'll make sure to put that down there. Our links are down there: Twitter, Discord, Patreon. If you're interested in books, which is the majority of what we talk about on this podcast, then our Patreon is great because you get to watch the episodes live as we record them, just like this, and you see them weeks ahead of when everyone on YouTube gets it. So it's a great deal. It's like $3 a month. It helps us out. It helps us pay for Adobe Premiere because God knows they are spiking the prices on that damn program. Um,
Yep.
but thank
Very
you
much
everybody
so.
for watching, and yeah, we'll be back in a week or in 2 weeks to talk about some more Dexter. So let us know down in the comments if you guys have any theories or any questions or anything that you'd like to see discussed in the next live stream that we do, and we will see you then. Bye, everybody.
Peace.